All right. So today is 11th of July. We are doing the entire NLP workshop live again today for the whole day till about 5 p.m. Firstly, my apologies for the delay. We were supposed to start at 11. There was some technical glitch with the with the link of Zoom. So we had some confusion about that. That's why the delay. So sorry about that. Now, starting the NLP program, this is like the superpower of law of attraction. That is why normally I had kept NLP as only part of platinum. Why? Because if you've not gone through some basics of law of attraction, understanding directly superpower sometimes becomes a little difficult. So we had kept NLP earlier only for platinum. But then the kind of extraordinary results that we started having for the NLP members was so profound that we said, no, we need to open this for everyone. And that's where later we opened NLP for a few people. So there are about 10 new people who've joined in NLP today. So congratulations, because you don't have to necessarily watch only the recordings. You're actually going to go through the entire NLP workshop live with me once more. I'll share with you some of the results that people have already got. But before that, today, I've also invited many people from the basic law of attraction, from the advanced law of attraction, from the wealth mastery course as my compliment, as my gift for the first 1 hour, which is going to be about understanding what NLP is. That's anyways the first module of the entire NLP certification program. This is a certification program. So the first hour is about understanding what NLP is, what benefit it has in your life, what power it has in your life. But before we do that, let's directly learn about what is NLP from some of the people who've already got the results. So how many of the platinum members who've been with me or for NLP since beginning would like to share a couple of your results? Raise your hands. Anybody here from NLP old platinum members? Okay, so we've got, I think Deepika is here. I don't know if Chetan is here right now. We've got Vijay is here. We've got Rahul here. Okay, so let's start with quickly Deepika. Yes, Deepika. Where is Deepika? Deepika, I can't see you. Where have you gone? Hold on. Can you unmute from? Yeah, and now I can see you.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, NLP has played a very big role in my life. Like we have learned a lot of things. How to main thing is generalization, distortion, and deletion, which help us not to generalize everything in every format. Whatever it says, it means that only, not other things.
That's right.
And then, hello, am I
Yeah,
audible?
I can hear you. I can hear you. Oops, I think some reason we got disconnected with Deepika. Let's see if we can take another one here. Who else do we have? We've got Hardika. So Hardika, directly share the results, not the modules, because people won't understand the modules. I'll tell them about the modules later. But what results you experienced?
One of the biggest result I have created is, I had an injury in my hand since last 6 years. I have been applying many creams, but still it was, not happening. But
Not healing.
Yeah, not healing. But later when I used NLP, one module is there. That helped me. My hand helped healed within 2 months. Like it was from 6 years and
You healed it within 2 months. Wow. And what were the other changes you brought in your exams and all of those?
Yeah, I love studying now. Like I can focus on my studies. And maths was a big headache for me. Now it has become very simple. Like I can solve any problem.
Wow, very nice. And did all these changes take 1 or 2 months, or did they take less amount of time to make change?
Amount of time.
How much time? Like for maths and for studies, for interest, for memory?
I actually, like for maths, I just imagine that maths is very simple. I solve these problems, and I've been using also the affirmations for it. Like I'm genius, I'm a problem solver, and stuff. And these affirmations also help me with anchoring also. Like I can, if I pick up the pen, I can solve anything.
Awesome. Awesome. So you've got problem solving, you've got anchoring for emotions, you've got memory improved, you've got exams interest improved, you've got maths interest improved. More importantly, you're saying the healing thing was completely done, which was not done for 6 years.
Yes.
Right? Okay, perfect. Great. So by the way, guys, Hardika here has been one of the best and the youngest practitioners in the group. It's a very technical topic, but in spite of that, children are picking up really fast. So some of the applications, some of the results of NLP from a law of attraction point of view, everyone write down quickly. Frequency change, frequency change. How many of you have realized Emotional frequency is the most important thing in law of attraction. How many of you agree with that? Raise your hands. What normal changes can happen only with affirmations, only with certain changes that we do with advance and wealth in, let's say, 5 or 10 days, we can bring those changes with NLP in your emotions in just 10 or 15 minutes. Literally 10 or 15 minutes. Emotional frequency. Second, your thoughts are, let's say, overthinking in one direction. How many people have that problem of overthinking in one direction? Using NLP, you can change the direction of your thoughts very fast in literally 5 to 10 minutes. Okay. Motivation. If you want to feel motivated towards something, you can make it happen fast. Here's another one. Like, dislike. Everyone write down like, dislike. There are so many things in life which we like, but they're not actually good for us. How many of you agree? There are many things in life which we like, but they're not good for us. Like negative habits are not good for us, but overeating is not good for us, but we like that. In NLP, using 10-15 minutes of a technique, we can actually go from like to dislike. You can take anything which you dislike, which is good for you. For an example, there are some good vegetables which are good for us, but we don't like them. How many of you have that problem? So you don't have them. We can convert that from dislike to like in literally 10 to 15 minutes. So the speed at which you can make changes in NLP is extraordinary. Okay, we'll just take a couple of more results and then we'll get into the diving of what NLP is for the first 1 hour. For all the members who are not part of either Platinum or official NLP program, after the first module is done, which will be about approximately 1 hour, which is about 12:15 till now. After that, we'll take a break. During the break, you're welcome to upgrade to NLP when you'll realize the power of it. If not, we'll just change the link and all the existing Platinum and NLP members will get a new link in the NLP Telegram group or the Platinum group. Everyone clear about that? Awesome. So now let's go to the next person in the group over here. Vijay. Hey, Vijay.
Hi, good morning all.
Good morning.
I just want to say just two things. NLP has given me an enhanced living in the area of everything, like taste, things that we see, things that we read, things that we understand. And the second thing is even the Hardika, this little girl, she helped me stop taking sweets at least for 2 months.
Oh, she did it on you?
Yeah. So she's a master.
That is awesome. That is awesome.
Yeah, this is what I want to share.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you, Vijay. So extremely high quality of life. Children are able to learn it and do it with others. This is how simple we teach over here. Okay. Going to Chiranjeet. Yes, Chiranjeet.
Mitesh,
Yes, Indu.
I want Hardika to help me also out with sweets then. You are not helping, so I might as well ask Hardika to help.
I'm not helping you on sweets. Why would I help
I know.
you? All right. Yes, Chiranjeet.
हेलो मितेश जी, थैंक यू कि आप मेरा भी उसमें इंक्लूड कर रहे हैं, बट मेरे एक्सपीरियंस एक्स्ट्राऑर्डिनरी थे फ्रॉम ट्रीटिंग ए पर्सन विद ऑक्सीजन लेवल एज लो एज 80 to 94 or sorry 90 within 3-4 minutes just using NLP. That was extraordinary impact for me as well as for that particular person. Where I was applying NLP, I passed my exam with flying colors. I would say credit. Of course, I did study and I did a lot of work, but obviously through NLP, I kept myself motivated and it helped me. Beside that, like you mentioned, changing likes to dislike, taking care of phobias, and many more things. List is endless. So it is really wonderful technique. It gives you wonderful tools. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right. So these are all our Platinum members, part of the workshop for the last 1 year. Let's see if we can cover one more. Deepa. Yes, Deepa.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Deepa.
सर एक्चुअली मैंने तो लेट ज्वाइन किया था, फेब में ज्वाइन किया था और मुझे एनएलपी के बारे में इतना नॉलेज भी नहीं था, बट आई लिसन दैट. और सर बिकॉज आई एम टू मच सिंसियर, तो मैं मेडिटेशन भी करती थी, योग सब, आई एम डूइंग एवरीथिंग. बट जो एनएलपी से जो मेरी ब्रेन की रिवायरिंग हुई, मतलब आई वाज टोटली चेंज. मतलब फर्स्ट थिंग इज, मतलब मैंने अपना खुद का ऑब्जर्वेशन है, जैसे इसको VAK बोलते हैं, दैट इज टू मच. मतलब नाउ आई कैन रियलाइज एवरीथिंग, सब कुछ बहुत अच्छे से. और बोलते हैं ना कि खुद से अवेयरनेस जो होती है, जो मेरे थॉट्स चलते हैं, आई कैन कैच दैट कि हाँ मेरे अंदर भी ये थॉट चल रहा है, अब मुझे इसको चेंज करना है. सर मैं एट दैट मोमेंट, पहले मुझे इरिटेशन होता था, नहीं अब मुझे पता है कि मुझे इसके प्रति एनालिसिस करना है, तो सर मेरी अवेयरनेस बहुत इंक्रीज हो गई है. सेकेंडरी सर, जैसे मॉर्निंग यू टोल्ड दैट अबाउट द डॉग, सर सेम इंसिडेंट डे बिफोर यस्टरडे मेरे साथ हुआ. मैं और मेरी फ्रेंड एक टेंपल में गए थे, तो डॉग को एकदम से ऐसी हो गई, तो जाने क्यों मेरे को ऐसा थॉट है, मेरा कुछ नहीं होता, मैंने कितना प्यारा डॉग है सर। वो मेरे पास आया तो ही वाज बिल्कुल सिंपल था वो, उसने मुझे बात कुछ भी नहीं किया वो। तो सर मतलब एकदम अवेयरनेस मेरी बहुत इंक्रीज हो गई है। इवन अब मैं ये भी गेस करने लगी कि मेरी मम्मा अब मुझसे क्या बोलने वाली है, इवन मेरा भाई मुझे किस चीज पे। तो सर मतलब थोड़ा नॉटी टाइप में अपने आप को पूरा चेंज कर लेती हूँ कि नहीं अब ये इंसिडेंट होने वाला है तो अब ये होने वाला है। तो सर वीए के ना तो टोटली मेरी लाइफ को चेंज कर दिया, मतलब आई एम डूइंग। और सर मैं 4 ईयर से कंटिन्यू मेडिटेशन कर रही हूँ, तो उसका भी मुझे इतना रिजल्ट नहीं मिला क्योंकि उसमें भी अवेयरनेस मेन होती है जो इन्हें वीए कैसे गॉट किया। थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू फॉर दैट। और सर आई फॉलो दैट स्टूडेंट्स आल्सो, मैंने अपने
Yes,
स्टूडेंट्स पे भी
I
चीज फॉलो
remember.
करी। यस
You
सर,
used NLP to increase your business. Yes.
या सर, यस।
Okay. So from personal life to professional life to financial life, in every area, it's all about, let me tell you a very simple definition of NLP. Everyone take your hands like this. Say crunching time. See, NLP is all about crunching time. It's all about learning how you can do 10 years of stuff in 1 year, how you can do 2 years of stuff in just 6 months. Like there are people in the group who've cured their depression, 5-year-old depression, in 15 minutes. Stop taking antidepressant tablets, stop taking sleeping tablets. It's all about mastering what we call as the software of our brain. Everyone write down the software of our brain. Most of us don't know how our brain works, and that is why we don't know how to make changes to that. The more you understand it, the more you can influence it. For an example, a medical doctor can do an entire heart surgery. How many of you agree heart surgery is a very complex science? Yes or no? But for a surgeon, it's pretty simple. How many of you agree? Like, especially for a 10-year-old surgeon, it's pretty simple. Yes or no? Because he understands the nitty-gritties of it. Similarly, if you understand the software of the brain, you can become an expert at it. So how many of you are ready to understand what exactly NLP is in its own technical terms? Everyone okay with that? Initially, you might hear some new words, some technical words. I'll try to make it as simple for you as possible. So make a lot of powerful notes in the first hour, starting now. So everyone take a blank page and start writing what is NLP. I'll keep sharing the benefits with you on the presentation as I'm doing it with you right now. Okay, so I'm sharing the slide with you where first we are talking about some of the simple and powerful benefits of NLP. Okay, first, how to make rapid changes in your life. Rapid, very, very fast changes. Like we're talking about what I said, crunching time from 10 years to 1 year kind of a changes. Then we are talking about changing your state of mind by choice. Most people, I have no idea how to change their state of mind and emotions in 5-10 minutes. Rapport building. How do you connect with any person in the world fast? Managing conflicts at a very high level. Like you learn to handle conflicts with yourself, with others. Most people are not even able to handle conflicts with themselves. We'll show you how to handle conflicts with yourself at such a fast speed that 10-year-old fights with yourself will just resolve in 10-15 minutes if you know how to manage NLP properly. Removing fears and phobias instantly. This is one of the most powerful parts of NLP. How do you remove fears of, let's say, 50-year-old, 20-year-old? A person has a phobia. Like I know people with me who've had the problem of getting into a lift, and I solved that 10-year-old problem in just 10 minutes in my own house, sent him in a lift, and he was absolutely normal in 10 minutes. This is the kind of rapid speed that you can do in your methods of teaching. If you're a trainer, healer, coach, this is like a must for you. Generating new habits and belief. How many of you have seen a lot of powerful results while you're attending my daily manifestation at 9 p.m.? Raise your hands. Or even my advanced and wealth sessions. One of the reasons I'm able to have a long-term impact on people because I'm using NLP in all my training programs. People don't know it, but I'm using NLP all the time. Okay. Then we are talking about creating peak performance state. What is a peak performance state? It's about being at a state of mind which is peak. Everyone take your hands like this and say low, medium, and high. Low, medium, and high. Now, normal human beings perform at an emotional state of either low or medium. Extraordinary people, they manage their state in such a way that they're at the peak state most of the times in their life. That is why they're able to create extraordinary results in life because their emotional frequency is so high. How do you create and keep that programmed peak state up? We're talking about that. Making changes which you can't even imagine in rapid speed. Okay. So these are some of the examples of what NLP is. Improving negotiation skills. There is unlimited application for NLP. Just think of it this way. Where is your brain software used? Everyone tell me, where is your brain software used? Show me with your hands, everyone. Come on, where? Every aspect of life. Every aspect of life. Yes or no? What if you could change anything in 10 to 15 minutes. Like for an example, how many people here have a problem where you can't wake up in the morning by choice? Raise your hands. What if I told you that I can give you on a stamp paper written guarantee, I can solve that problem for you in 20 minutes? Stamp paper written guarantee, 20 minutes, I've done it. I've done it for myself. I've done it for many platinum members in the group already. It's all about learning how to use it properly. Yes or no? Here's another example. How many of you eat something which is not good for you, or you overeat something like chocolate or something which is not good for you? What if I tell you in 20 minutes, I'll get you to a situation, koi free mein bhi dega to khaoge nahi? How many of you want to get to that level of control over your brain? That's what I'm talking about NLP today. And we'll learn that today. We'll learn exactly how to do that today in front of everyone. So it's not like I'm doing some personal coaching, very private, confidential conversation. No, in front of everyone, without any story, I'll be able to change your emotional part. Here's the best part about NLP. How many people here are coaches or leaders, corporate trainers, anybody healers? Normally what happens is when somebody comes to you for healing, you have to understand their story a little bit in order to heal them. Yes? Write down, everyone. In NLP, we say the story is not important. The story is not important. Like, we don't care about the stories. We can make rapid changes in a person's mindset without even knowing what happened in their past. Because we're just simply rewiring the software of the brain. It doesn't matter what happened in the past. What matters is what is the current software. Does that make sense to you? All right. So how do we really do that? Now, what I'm about to show you, what NLP is at a technical level, is called as the NLP communication model. It's called as the NLP communication model, which means how do we communicate with ourselves and with the world? Everyone repeat with me. How do we communicate with ourselves and the world out there? So observe, how do we communicate? Here we go again. I'm sharing the screen with you. This is a very important picture that you need to remember. So let's say there is a human being. Okay. Let's see if I've got the right one here. I think I may have got the wrong PPT. Hold on. I got the wrong. Yeah, this is the right one. So coming back to that. So let's say there is a human being here, and this human being is receiving life experiences from life. Everything in NLP, we call it as an event. Simple. Everyone write down event. Now, what do you mean by event? This is a technical term, but let's understand it in a very simple language. Any situation is an event. Any person is an event. You are, like Deepa was saying right now, you're walking on the road and a dog barks at you. What is that, everyone? Raise your hands and say event. Okay. Somebody shouts at you. You don't like that person is shouting at you. Everyone raise your hands. What is it called? Event. If you remember a memory 10 years past, suddenly you feel low. What is that, everyone? Raise your hands. Event. If you are experiencing trauma by thinking of a situation, event. Everything in life is what? Event. In NLP, the moment you're receiving information, we are calling it event. It's as simple as that. Everything is an event. A person is an event. A situation is an event. A memory is an event. Now, these events, this situation, when we perceive them in our brain, we never perceive them the way they are. It's not technically possible. Okay. Why? Our brain has already pre-installed by the universe something called as filters. Everyone write down filters, which we have in our brain. Whenever we see things, we can never see things as they are. We always filter them through a specific way. Let me show you what that specific way is now. Now, we filter them. Everybody's seen a water filter, right? What does water filter do? Water comes in, it filters, keeps some things inside, and then leaves the water outside. So our brain does exactly the same. It filters the information from the reality of the world.
Frozen almost a minute ago.
Am I? Guys, Indu is saying I'm frozen for 1 minute. Am I lost completely for last 1 minute?
Now you're here.
Now I'm here. Okay, hold on.
Last 1 minute we lost.
Yes, sir.
Last 1 minute. Okay. So,
Only heard about events.
That's
After that, we
minutes.
don't.
okay, so did you lose me at the word event?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Filter.
Done. All right. So everything in life is what? Everything in life is what? Event. Internet right now the internet got fluctuated. What is this?
Event.
Yeah, it is also an event, right? Do you think every person sitting here is having the same experience of the same event? Yes or no?
Yes.
No, everybody is not having the same experience because everybody has different filters. Everyone take both your hands, say, we have different filters in the brain, right? We all have different filters. It is the filter that is deciding how you experience reality. How you experience reality, okay? So how does the filter look? Showing you now once again on the screen. So there is an event that happens and that event gets filtered and then we experience that reality. We experience this reality in 3 methods. We filter it. We have 3 filters. Filter is called as DDG, distort, delete, and generalize. Everyone write down distort, delete, and generalize. Distort, delete, and generalize. First write this down, then I'll explain it. Distort, delete, and generalize. Okay, so for an example, how many of you here are understanding what is distortion? Take your hands like this. Look at your hands right now. And now shake them and look at them at the same time. Are you able to see your hands clearly? No. So what am I doing? Why are you not able to see your hands clearly? It is distorting your reality right now. Am I right? We don't see things as they are. We distort reality sometimes. For an example, somebody falls down. Somebody falls down. You are looking at that person from the balcony. Do you think everybody in a building who looking at that person falling down has the same experience of the event? No, everybody has a different experience because of the way we filter it. One of the filters is called as the distortion filter. It's called as the distortion filter. The distortion may be, oh, this person is careless. Now, is that what it really means? No. So what does it really mean? We don't know until we really go and see the reality. Yes or no? But the problem is we start filtering the reality and we start distorting. Second, so distortion, deletion. Everyone say deletion. So this is distortion, right? We are distorting reality. Say deletion. Now what is deletion? We delete reality. I'll give you an example of that. Let's say somebody talks to you badly and you say, this person is the worst person in the world I have ever met. Now, what is this? Filter number 1. What is that called? Everyone show me your hands. Show me your hands. Distortion. You distorted the reality completely. Is this person really the worst person in the world? Not necessarily, but we are definitely distorting that filter. So we are using, and because of that distortion filter, we are experiencing that reality a little differently. Now, let's say deletion. You have never done anything good for me in your life. Now, what am I doing here? Take your hands like this, say deleting. Deleting all the good information when I may have done something good for you. Yes or no? How many of you have remembered people say this to you? You've never done anything for me. Do you remember? So they literally deleted all the information that they may have ever used to help you. That's called deletion, right? How many people here say, I have been using my law of attraction for the last 4 years. Nothing is working for me. How many of you have done that? Raise your hands. Now that was what? Deletion. Yes or no? I am born short-tempered. My mind just doesn't stop thinking. Now, what are we doing here? Distortion also and deletion also. There are many times my mind has been peaceful. Yes or no? But I've completely ignored that. I've deleted that information. So we distort reality, we delete reality, because of which we are not able to control reality. Okay. Then comes in the next part, generalization. Generalization. Everyone say generalization. Come on, say generalization. What is generalization? We say things as if it's like a blanket rule for everything. For an example, you never talk to me properly. Oh, you always shout at me. You are always late. Okay. I don't understand anything you ever say. So what is all this? Generalization. The more we generalize things, we will not be able to filter them properly. So what is the solution here? See things as they are. Everyone write down. See things as they are. See things as they are. Now, in the next 1 hour after the NLP introduction is complete, we go into details of how do we really apply this and how do we change our filters so that we can change our experiences in 2 minutes. How many of you want to learn how to do that? Literally. So 10 years of filter changed in 5 minutes. It's actually possible how to do that. Later, we'll teach you how to do that once the first part is complete. Okay. So everybody clear? How many filters are there? Raise your hands. Show me how many filters are there. 3 filters. What are those? Take your hands. Say distortion, right? Deletion and generalization, right? So these are the 3 filters. Now, how do these 3 filters impact our life? If you observe any communication that we take in now, language, we distort the language, we delete the language, we use generalization in our language, memories, decisions, personality traits, values and beliefs, our attitudes, everything is a result of our filters, right? Now, we use these filters in 3 aspects. Our internal state, which means how we feel on the inside, our internal state. This internal state decides our emotional state, which is what you see in the center box, and that is because of our physiology. So if you observe here, this all is interconnected. Our internal state is created by what we call as our V, which is visual. Everyone take your hands towards your eyes and say visual. Visual, right? Hear. Everyone say hear. And right hand say feel. So whatever we are seeing, whatever we are hearing, whatever we are feeling inside our mind is creating a certain biochemistry for us. How many of you agree with that? It's creating a certain emotional state inside us, which is because of that connecting to our body language, to our posture, to our facial expressions. All of that is being created here. Now, what if I could tell you, I could actually make changes to our habits of physiological habits in literally 20 minutes. All you need to do is learn how to change the software here at the filter level first. Okay. Then as you learn the filter levels, you will then learn something called as changing neuro connections. Everyone write down the word neuro connections. And I'll tell you what that means now. Okay, so showing you on the screen now, in our brain, there are neurons. Our thoughts are always happening as a result of our neurons. Every time you think, there is electricity that gets connected to our brain, and that is what is calling life. When a person is dead, these neurons don't have electricity anymore, so there is no neurons firing anymore. If you learn how to change the neurons and the software of these neurons, you actually know how to control the brain itself. This technology was created by 3 specific people in the world, and I'll tell you the exact names right now. It's the science of human behavior. We've already covered this. Okay, so the first person is John Grinder. Everyone write down. The first person here is Richard Bandler. His name is Richard Bandler. He's a computer program and psychologist. This is Richard Bandler. Then there is John Grinder. He's a professor of linguistic or language. Okay, this is John Grinder. They both modeled people who were like Virginia Satir. She was a family therapist. She was one of the best family therapists in the world. Then Fritz Perls. He was called as the founder of the Gestalt therapy. And finally, Milton Erickson, who was a master hypnotherapist. Milton Erickson was known as a master therapist where nobody in the world could solve a problem. They used to go to this guy. These were the 3 people whom these people learned from, Richard Bandler and John Grinder, and they were the founders of NLP. Now, what really does it mean by when we say what NLP is? So let's look at that. The language to change our neurological programming. Okay, you have 1,000 billion neurons in the brain, which creates neurological response to experiences and stores them as memory. How many, everyone? 1,000. 1,000. Now, if you learn the science of how do you program these 1,000 neurons, you've got magic at your control. Okay. Now, linguistics means what? The only way in which we are able to describe our lives to ourselves and to others is through language. And NLP is about mastering language for communication, which means what is the language of these neurons? That is why this is called as Neuro Linguistic programming. Right? So programming, our automatic programs, our patterns and unconscious responses, which NLP teaches us to change and install effortlessly. Now coming to the neuroconnections part. Most people are not able to live a life of their dreams because they believe they lack what they say as discipline, intelligence, luck. Then some people talk about creativity, energy, talent, money, resources. A lot of people think support is sometimes missing in life. Actually, all of this is not missing. What is really missing is not all of these things, but really what we call as neuroconnections in our brain. Okay, because most people think that extraordinary people are born, but actually they are not born. It is just that extraordinary people have more neurons. NLP shows us the proof that in reality, we all have the same potential to produce any result that we want in our life. Okay, so as human beings, we all have the same hardware. How many of you agree with that? Raise your hands. We all have the same hardware. It's just like we have exactly the same computer, still the performance is completely different. Now, so then what makes people more successful, one person than the other? Let's look at that now. The moment we talk about neuroconnections, these are actual neurons in the brain. A person who has 10 years of experience will probably have a little better performance than a person who has 1 year experience. How many of you agree with that? In any area of life, right? Why? Because 10 years of experience has given this person what? More neuroconnections, In the brain, the more neuroconnections you have for a particular area, the faster you will learn that. And the more you'll become an expert in that area. You remember I said, what is NLP? Take your hands like this again. And I said, it's crunching time. Okay. If somebody has achieved 10 years of experience and 10 years of neuroconnections, what if I could teach you to get 10 years of neuroconnections in 6 months? Would that be great? That is why we say in NLP, in Platinum, it's about achieving 10 years of success in how much time? 1 year. Because you start developing loads of neuroconnections. I was telling people in Wealth Mastery the other day that my last month income was 35 lakhs. Now, I have been able to achieve in 1 year in the B2C industry what most people have not been able to achieve in 5 years or 10 years. Why? I've been able to develop more neuroconnections at a much faster speed compared to any other coach. Is that making sense? So it's not like I'm more talented. It's not true. It's not like I'm more lucky. It's not true. There are many people who are more talented than me in the market. How many of you agree with that? Many people. But they're not able to make more money faster. So what are they lacking here? What are they lacking? Again, let's go back to NLP. It's the neuroconnections that they're lacking. If you could give them the neuroconnections that I have from 1 year to, let's say, 3 months, some of these people could actually have faster growth and success. Is that making sense to you? That is what we are talking about. What is NLP here? Now, when we talk about neuroconnections, think about all these people that you have in the world. People like Azim Premji, people like Narayan Murthy, people like Vijay Mallya, people like Amitabh Bachchan. All these people, they have the same brain as you and I do. How many of you agree the brain, God has made exactly the same brain at a physiological level? Yes or no? So how can we say that Azim Premji is smarter than Mitesh Khatri? Or how can we say that any one of you is not as smart as Azim Premji? We all have the same hardware, right? So what is really the difference between us and them? Now, this may be difficult to digest, but if you study neurology, it has scientific proof that we are all exactly the same at a neurological level. There is basically no difference in our brain. All of us have 1,000 billion neurons, nerve cells in our brains, right? Every single cell is faster than a Pentium 4 computer, and you have 4 billion of those in the brain. 4 billion. Now, 1 billion. Now, my question is this. Azim Premji has how many billion neurons? 1 billion. I have how many billion neurons? 1 billion. You have how many billion neurons? 1 billion. So why is one person successful and the other person not successful? The connections between these neurons. That's it. The connections between these neurons. Let me give you an example of that. Everyone take your hands like this and hold it like this. Imagine this is India. Okay, imagine this is India. Now, why is it to go from Pune to Mumbai takes only 3 hours, but sometimes to go from Pune to a nearby place like Karjat, which has a bad road, also takes 3 hours. Why? Why? Yeah, it's the connection. It's the connection. How many of you agree? It's the connection, right? So there is an express highway that takes you full speed to Pune to Mumbai. Yes or no? What are we doing? We're crunching time by creating better connections between places. Is that making sense to you? Now you go to Karjat, you may still take 3 hours. Why? Because the road is bad and the connection is not great. You're going through ups and downs in life. Yes? So everyone take hands like this, say, I am here. I want to go here. Now, if you're going through a lot of ups and downs, will you take more time or less time? You will take more time in life. But why are we taking more time? Less neuro connections. What if I could activate your neuro connections so you can get things faster? How many of you are interested in that? That is what NLP is. It's about being in control of how you experience the world and your filters in your life, rather than letting the world control you, how your brain works, right? So if you look at some more scientific proof here, let's look at this. Any ordinary person like Narayan Murthy, who has no more than 10,000, started with one of the best IT companies in the world called Infosys, has the same brain. He also started with 10,000 rupees. How many of you agree with that? But there was one common thing between us and him in his brain. What is that again? How many neurons, everyone? 1 billion neurons, right? 1 billion neurons. But what was the only difference between probably us and Azim Premji? How his neurons were connected to his brain. If you create the right connections, you will see how these people became successful, because he has not got a better brain. It's been scientifically proven he does not have a better brain, but because he has richer neuro connections in the area of business than others, he's more successful. So if you want to be more successful in business, create more neuro connections in business. If you want to be more successful in coaching, create more neuro connections in coaching. If you want to be more successful in learning, create more neuro connections in learning. Is that making sense to all of you? I'll give you a very simple example here. We recently started the digital coaching program, especially for the platinum members, once again on Sundays. And some people are suddenly taking faster growth compared to many other people because the neuro connections are growing, right? People who were never able to do YouTube channels earlier have started doing YouTube channel every day. People who were never able to make money earlier have started making money now. Why? Every session of digital coaching, I start with them. And because they understand my language of NLP, because they've already gone through NLP with me, I don't directly start with the conversation of digital coaching. I start with the conversation of neuro connections first. So I develop their neuro connections for success first. And as a result, they succeed faster. How many of you are understanding what I'm saying now? This is technical a little bit, but are you understanding this? So we develop the neuro connections first. Like in law of attraction, we say, we do the affirmations first, action later. Yes or no? Similarly, in NLP, we do the neuro connections first. Okay. And based on that, we do the affirmations. Based on that, we do the actions. And it's just a different level of the game here. Okay. Now let's look at a few more realizations about patterns based on neurons. So going to neurological patterns here, when a person does something, once they develop a neuro connection in that area, is called a neurological message. Okay, when this neurological message repeats, many times it develops what NLP calls as a neurological pattern. Stronger the pattern, the better you become in that area. Let me give you an example of this first. Everyone take your hands like this on your brain, left side. Now, some of you have more hair, I have less, so maybe I feel a little better of my brain, but try to keep your hand on one part of your brain. Now, from the other hand, take from that finger and draw it to the other end. Come on, draw it to the other end. In NLP, we call this a neurological connection. What do we call this? Neurological connection. When you do something once, how many connections are there now? When you do something once, how many connections are there? One connection. When you repeat it, how many connections? Two connections. So it's literally in your brain, if you look at it from an EEG, there's a neuron firing and going to that point again. Okay. When you do it twice, it goes twice, thrice, 4 times, 5 times. Now, there are 2 kinds of patterns we call. Everyone write down neurological pathway. Neurological pathway. Now, this, when we talk about neurological pathway, mild habits have been formed. Mild habits. So all of you who have mild habits in certain areas, there you have neurological pathway. Now, these pathways, if you repeat them long enough, yes.
Can you repeat it? You were frozen again.
I was?
And you
Okay.
yeah.
Yes. So everyone, once again, left hand here.
No.
One point.
From neurological pathway.
From neurological
part only.
Okay.
Neurological pathway.
So we all have something called a neurological pathway in our brain. How it works is we have a neuron here. We have 1 billion neuron, right? So 1 billion neurons are there in the head. When you do something once, a message is completed in the brain. When that message is completed once, one neuron has connected to the other neuron. So everyone, once again, take your hand like this, connect one part of your head and take it and draw it to the other end. So it's like one message is complete right now. If you do it one time, it's one neurological link. If you do it multiple times, after 10, 15 times, a neurological pathway has been created. Because it's a neurological pathway, it's called a mild habit. Mild habit. How many of you have some habits which are mild? Like you can take control in that area? Raise your hands. Now, those are neurological pathways. When you do it for long enough, this becomes what? It's called as a neurological highway. Write down, everyone. Neurological highway. Now, because this is a neurological highway, what now happens is this becomes a very strong habit. Very strong habit. Now, there are two kinds of neurological highways, which in common language you call as good habits and bad habits. Healthy habits, unhealthy habits. Positive habits, negative habits. Is everyone clear? At NLP, we don't call them good habits or bad habits. We just call them neurological highway. Now, what if I can tell you, you can take some of your neurological highways and destroy that highway in just half an hour. If you look at it from an example point of view, if I go to express highway today, and if I want to destroy the express highway, I can do it two ways. I can take one hammer and I can start breaking the road. Okay, I can start breaking the road. How much time will I take to break the entire highway? What do you think, everyone?
2 months.
2 months? You can break the entire express highway in 2 months. Who can do that? Please teach me. Okay.
Sorry.
Not 2 months. How much time?
At least 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, maybe more. Maybe 10 years.
Lifetime.
How do you agree?
Forever.
अरे बाबा 10 years तो उसको बनाने में लग गए.
Lifetime.
10 years तो उसको बनाने में लग गए. How many of you agree with that?
Yeah.
And it's concrete. You're trying to tell me you can break an entire mountain in 10 days or 2 years? Not possible. You'll take an eternity. Yes or no? Now, what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say, how many people here are trying to struggle to break your bad habits for the last 10 years? Yeah, you're taking a hammer. Tuk 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 लगे हुए हाईवे के पीछे. क्या होगा? हैमर लेके हाईवे नहीं तोड़ा जाता. How many of you agree?
जिंदगी निकल जाएगी.
या जिंदगी निकल जाती है लोगों की. How many of you agree? Many people live their entire life with habits. Yes or no? Why? Because they're using a hammer. There's nothing wrong with what their intention is. They've got the wrong tools in their hands. Now, what if you go to the let's say you take an Air Force plane and you blast a missile? What will happen? Boom. The entire highway is disconnected from one point to another point. Nobody can now go from Pune to Mumbai. How many of you agree with that? Or you have this one tunnel. You go inside the tunnel and you blast that only one tunnel and boom, it blasts. And the entire highway is disconnected. How many of you agree? Even if somebody wants, nobody can go from here to here now. Is that making sense to you? What have you done here? What have you done here? Show me with your hands. Show me with your hands. You've destroyed that neurological highway by interrupting that highway. Yes or no? No, there are two ways of doing it. Here is a harder way of doing it again. Making a missile or a bomb on every 100 square feet of the highway. Now that is more expensive, again, more time consuming. Yes or no? Or simply going and destroying the tunnel. What do you think is a better idea? And the second one, right? Why destroy the entire highway when you can just simply disconnect the road by just destroying the tunnel? Yes or no? So why? Because for a simple reason, all our intention is the neuro connection should not go from here to here. Example, when a person feels like smoking, it's like a message in the brain. Okay, it's like a message in the brain. They take a cigarette If the thought starts here and the thought completes here, will they smoke? Yes or no? Yeah. Now, right now, this is not a thought. This is not a neurological connection. This has become a neurological what? Everyone show me your hands. It's a highway, right? So when people approach smoking, do they approach like this? Like, do they go towards the cigarette and like, pew, nahi pew? I'm not sure. Nahi, baad mein aata hu. Ek ghante baad. Do people behave like that when they smoke? No. How do they smoke? Show me your hands. Like, after the cigarette is complete, they're like, अरे यार नहीं पीनी चाहिए, कल से छोड़ दूंगा. How many people have experienced or seen people doing that? Raise your hands. Right? For 10 years. Why? Because it's a neurological highway. And you're breaking that using conversations. Hammer doesn't work. A very scientific tool to break that. That's where this is called as, everyone write down. In NLP, we call that interrupting and destroying neurological patterns. Everyone write down, interrupting and destroying neurological patterns. Neurological patterns. And the second thing we call it as developing neurological patterns. Developing neurological patterns. So if I have a bad habit, what do I need to do? Everyone take your hands like this and say, I need to interrupt and destroy the neurological patterns. So instead of destroying the entire pattern at one step at a time, we just go to the right point and we interrupt, the whole pattern gets destroyed. It's as simple as that. Example, how many of you have seen a CD player CD? Everybody's seen a CD, right? A CD has a software programmed on it. Yes. If you drop the CD by mistake, it has a small mark. When you now play the CD, it plays, but there's a little glitch in the CD. How many of you agree? There's this little sound in the CD, like you'll see a breakup. If you drop it again, what's happening is, everyone take your hands like this, say there is an interruption in the program. There is a interruption in the program. Over a period of time, that pattern gets destroyed. Why? So everyone hold the CD like this and say there is a program written in the circular fashion. Yes or no? You don't need to destroy the whole CD. If even on one level of the CD, if there is too many scratches, what will happen? The connection between the program breaks. How many of you agree? That's how our brain works. If you break the connection, the bad habit is broken. This is what we call in NLP as interrupting and destroying negative patterns. Already in Platinum, we've got many people who've stopped their bad habits simply because of interrupting negative patterns. Is that making sense? Now comes in the second part. Everyone, I hope you've already written, say develop neurological patterns. What do I mean by that? Creating good habits. But I'm not talking about creating good habits in the ordinary way. I'm talking about creating in the neurological pathways in a technical way. So what others can do in 6 months, you can do in 1 month. How many of you are interested in that? Okay, let's look at some examples here. What kind of activities people can learn faster? Examples: playing like guitar, maths, habits, laziness, motivation, hard work, poor, rich, happy, depressed. All these are what? All these are what? Everyone take your hands on the head and say, these are all neurological connections in the brain. If you don't have connections, you can't learn any one of these things, neither the good things, neither the bad things. If you have more connections, you're getting stronger. If you have less connections, you're getting weaker in that area. It's as simple as that. Now, what NLP does is it shows us scientific ways to develop neurological patterns for new habits and results, and even break unwanted neurological patterns in the shortest time possible. Examples like smoking, learning, business. Now, any neurological pattern that you want to break, we have a technique of that in NLP, understanding the software and how you can change the software. Is that making sense to everyone? So everyone quickly make a note. What are some of the neurological highways that you have, which are unhealthy highways, bad habits that you would like to break? Also at the law of attraction level. Some of you now understand your emotional patterns. How many people are part of the advanced law of attraction? Raise your hands, please. You understand some of your NLP patterns, sorry, not NLP, your emotional patterns now as part of the advanced law of attraction. Yes? Maybe you should identify some of those saying, oh, this is my neurological highway. I need to break this highway. What are some of those highways? Come on, quickly recognize that. Here's another question. What are some of the neurological pathways and highways that you need to develop? Make a note of that also. What are certain areas where you're trying to learn and you need to develop neurological connections in that area? Maybe you're trying to start a new coaching business, or maybe you want to take your business to the next level. Like we have Shreyans here, who's an extraordinary successful entrepreneur. So Shreyans, for you, it would be about developing your neurons from where you are, let's say at 100 crores to 200 crores. But if we try to go in the conventional way, it's going to take time because the brain says, oh, then I have to do this. But if you learn to develop the neurons faster, then you can model what other people have done, because there are many people in the world who've gone from 100 crores to 1,000 crores in much faster time. How many of you agree with that? Many people in the world. All I need to do is copy their neurons. So in NLP, we call this as, everyone write down, modeling neurons. Everyone write down modeling neurons. We basically call this as modeling in NLP. Where does the word modeling come from? Okay, before that, how many of you have written at least one or two bad habits or neurological highways, not pathways, highways that you need to break? Raise your hands, please. Okay, write down for how long you've been struggling in that area. For how long? Emotional highways, thought highways, belief highways, action highways. Action highways are simple habits like smoking, drinking, short temper, talking badly. Then emotional highways are like irritation, guilt, living with regret, fear, inferior complex. These are all emotional highways. Then thought highways are like, I am not good enough. No matter what I do, money never comes to me easily. These are thought and belief highways. So how many of you have written at least 2 or 3 neurological bad highways that you need to interrupt? Raise your hands. And for how long you've been experiencing and struggling this with? Everyone unmute and give me a number. 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. Say it loudly. Come on, everyone. Oh, hold on. Unmute now. Go.
2 years. 10 years.
15 years.
7 years.
9,
Might be much more.
25 years.
2 years, sir.
15 years.
Much
10 years.
more. Cannot remember.
Doesn't even remember. Do you see the average number of years? Can anybody show me your hands, please? What is the average number of years?
7 years.
Yeah, anything between 5 to 10 years is like the average of the group right now. There are so many people struggling for 20, 25 years also. Yes or no? What if I could show you a way to solve a 10-year-old problem within a week? How many of you are interested in that? And what if I could show you, instead of a week, we could take only half an hour? Now, how many of you are interested in that? That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. That is NLP. And if you don't believe me, we've actually done it with people. I don't know if Pinky is in the group today. Pinky, are you here with me? Tanmay, Pinky? I don't think so she's here. So Pinky is one of the ladies. She was going through panic attacks. And I've given this example many times earlier in some groups. You're here, Pinky? Are you on video?
No, sir.
No. Pinky, tell us, you've been going through panic attack before you met me for how long?
6 years, sir.
6 years. And you were taking psychiatric help?
Yes, sir.
And how many medicines you were having for how long?
I was having 2-3 medicines, sir.
For how long?
Medicines was for 2 years, but one medicine was continuing.
Okay. And when you met me for the first time in Platinum, where we did NLP on you in front of the whole group, in how much time were we able to solve the panic attacks problem?
For 10 minutes. 5 to 10 minutes.
Did everybody hear that? 10 minutes. How old problem, everyone? Show me with your hands. 6 years. And Pinky, can you just explain, when you mean 6 years problem, what was that panic experience on a daily basis? Can you just explain people what does that feel?
So, when I think of that fear of that, I was just मतलब मुझे वो फील होता था अंदर से, तो मुझे बहुत फियर एंजाइटी ये सब होता था सर. फिर मैं सो नहीं पाती थी रात को, डर लगता था,
रोते थे, सो नहीं पाते थे.
हाँ सर.
और आपको माइग्रेन हो जाता था, आप बोल रहे थे?
नहीं, माइग्रेन नहीं होता था.
अच्छा, सर दर्द.
हाँ, मैं
दूसरों से सेपरेट हो जाती थी, मतलब किसी से बात करने का मन नहीं करता था, अपनी जोन में चली जाती थी।
और ये रोज कितनी देर के लिए होता था?
सर कभी भी हो जाता था सर ये।
और फिर कितनी देर रहता था?
सर इट for 2-3 days it will continue like this, sir.
Can anybody imagine living like that for 6 years? Now,
When I was unable to go out alone, I was unable to means talk to anyone. Means I was in another zone, sir. I don't know where I was.
and today tell everybody after that 10-minute session, what are you doing?
My life has totally changed, sir. I can how I will say, I can't explain, sir.
Okay, so let me help you. You've started a entrepreneurial business where you're
Yes,
doing
sir.
a
Yes,
play
yes,
school
sir.
with your partner, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so she's got a new business where she's running a play school today. Second, if I'm not wrong, you also said you're a lawyer,
Yes, sir.
right? And you said you're getting back to practice.
Yes. The senior called me and he told to work with him.
Right, so she's going back to her lawyer practice. Third,
And I have started my yoga classes
Yeah.
also, and 5-6 students they are so happy with me. They like to join. Even on Saturday I don't have class, but they message me, please keep. We like to talk to you. You are full of positivity like this, sir.
so she's become an international yoga certified trainer now after that. And now she's become a coach. So everyone, please unmute, give her a high five and say, Pinky, you're a rock star. Let's go.
Pinky, you are rock
Pinky, you are a rock star.
And
Right. Sorry, Pinky, you were saying something. You'll have to unmute from your side because I muted everyone.
Sir, I started driving car. That was also my biggest fear.
Yes.
Na? Sir,
Yes.
you done this NLP
Yeah,
on
I
me,
remember.
and I
I'd
started
forgotten that.
driving car.
You were
Yes.
not driving for how long?
Sir, that also for 4 years like this.
And we did the technique for how long for getting you back to driving?
I think 5 minutes. I still remember that process, sir.
So guys, listen, 5 years fear of driving, 5-minute fear gone. Now, how many of you want this kind of progress in your life? That's the kind of, I'm not saying I can do it. I'm saying NLP has that potential. Is everyone clear about this? Okay. So now everyone write down, what are some of the neurological connections that you need to develop, some good habits that you need to develop? Write that down now. Like in my case, I'll tell you what that is for exercising, for selling. Like for me, selling was a big problem a few years ago. So I learned how to sell. I developed faster neuro connections in that area. Especially when I came into B2C, the reason I got 1 year success so fast is because I learned to develop my neuro connections very fast about selling, very fast. So what are the neurological highways that you need to work on? Make a couple of notes on that, everyone, quickly. Okay. How many of you can find at least 1 or 2 areas where you definitely need to develop your neuro connections? Raise your hands. Now, you could take the slower path, which is what? Going again from, everyone take your hands like this, from one point to the other point by walking. So you go from Pune to Mumbai by walking. How much time will you take again? Everyone, make a guess. Pune to Mumbai by walk. How much time do you think you will take?
1 month. 10-12 days.
No, 1 month. Nahi lagega.
2 months.
2 to 3 days, maybe 2 days. 2 days you can do. Chalo, average time, even if there are some people like me here who will kind of wait on the way, have some fun. 4-5 days, 4-5 days, right?
More than that.
Now, if you simply sit in the car and drive, how much time can you take? 3 hours, 4 hours, right? Depending on where you're going in Mumbai. If you go by flight,
2 minutes.
yeah, it's 20 minutes max, 25 minutes. Yes. I mean, if you count the landing time, it's about 45 minutes. But bottom line is this, how fast you go somewhere doesn't have everything to do with how far the area is. It's about how you go there. Is that making sense to you? It doesn't matter how far that thing is. It matters how you go there. So people like Elon Musk, they understand this stuff, right? People like Bill Gates, they understand this stuff. And that's why these guys hire expensive coaches to work with them on what first? Work first or neurological connections first? Everyone? So how many of you heard me saying many times, NLP is the superpower of law of attraction? How many of you heard me saying that many times? Are you understanding why now? Like, this is the kind of power that you can create. Okay. What if we could take some of our biggest fears in business and transform those fears into power? Instead of taking 1 year to learn that by experience, you could do it by destroying bad neuroconnections and creating good neuroconnections in a faster process. Okay. So I've given you a basic understanding of what NLP is. There are various modules that we'll be covering today, and then some we'll cover on the next Sunday. Everyone write down what modules we are covering. So one of the first modules that we are covering today is called as VAK primary modalities. Now, all the people who are here today as only guest can also write it down. VAK modalities. This is called as visual, auditory, kinesthetic. Visual, auditory, kinesthetic. What that means is we have 3 primary modalities of our brain. How you use these modalities has an impact on how we experience the world. For an example, right now, the way you see me is making an impact of how you perceive me, how you experience me. How many of you agree with that? If I change simply one modality of your brain, which is called as the visual modality, your experience will totally transform right now. How many of you agree? If I include the visual with auditory, it further transforms your experience. Is that right?
Lost you, Mitesh.
You did not lose me. I was doing it purposely.
Oh.
What happened when I took the voice away? You couldn't experience me fully. Yes or no? If you learn how to make changes to your VAK, you can actually make changes to your brain super fast. Super fast. These are scientific techniques. It's not about hocus pocus philosophy. Is that making sense, guys? All right. So one is V, then auditory, then kinesthetic. What is kinesthetic? Kinesthetic is how you move your hands, how you move your breathing, how you move your body, how you have your facial expressions. For an example, everyone say, I love you. Come on, everyone say, I love you. Now, everyone say, ha, I love you. Is it the same experience? Now, everyone look at the screen, look at the camera, smile, say, yes, I love you. Now, observe the entire experience shifts. Yes or no? That one single thing shifts the entire experience because you're changing your VAKs. Now, there are multiple applications of the VAKs at the software level. Here's another application. What if you could look at a person just by looking at their eyes and you can tell whether they're lying or they're telling the truth? How many of you want that kind of a superpower? I can do that. How many of you seen me many times during an advanced law of attraction coaching or wealth mastery coaching? Somebody's asking me something and before they finish, I know what they're talking. How many of you have seen me doing that? Right? The reason is because I'm not listening to their words only. I'm listening to their eyes. I've trained myself so much that I can see where their eyeballs are moving in which direction. And when there's a minute difference in their eyeball direction, I can see it. And I know that because some people are more visual, I have to talk to them in the more visual words. Some people are more auditory, so I have to talk to them in the auditory words. Some people are more kinesthetic, so I can talk to them in the kinesthetic words. So if I want to impact a visual person more, should I use a kinesthetic language? Hello? There's no point. If a person is kinesthetic, should I use a visual language? No. For an example, if I'm a salesperson and if I know you are a kinesthetic person, what is kinesthetic? Everyone say body, body. Everything to do with body, breathing, all that is kinesthetic. I'm telling you in short, later we'll go into details. So if I'm a salesperson selling you cloth material, while selling to you the cloth material, you know the first thing what I should do? If I know you are a kinesthetic, everyone, what should I do?
Feel the fabric.
No. No, 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 no.
Make you wear
the clothes.
Yeah,
Example.
hand over the fabric in their hands.
Touch it. Yeah. Touch and feel.
Yeah, let him feel the fabric first. Let her feel the fabric first. Yes or no? How many people here have this experience where a salesperson is showing you something and you're like, "Haath mein to do," and he's not giving you. He's like, "Ha, aap dekho to sahi kitna acha lag raha hai," and you get damn irritated. How many of you have gone through that experience? Now, if you get irritated, that means you're a little more kinesthetic. And you're not liking when somebody's not giving it in your hands. What happens when I do coaching is, in the first 2 minutes when people talk, and I'm not joking with you, first 2 minutes, I know whether people are visual, auditory, or kinesthetic. So I speak to them accordingly. My tone changes, my behavior changes, my visuals change, my hand posture changes. Like with some people, I move a lot. With some people, I just put my hands down and I do this. Have you seen me doing that sometimes? Like I suddenly just fold my hands. With kinesthetic people, I don't move too much because they can't focus on me if I talk to them that way. Like all the people, and I'll tell, okay, later we'll get into details of how we recognize VAK. But what if you had the power to recognize somebody's primary way of communicating? How important is that for you, everyone? Why is that important? What if nobody listens to one person in the family, but that person listens to you? How many of you want that kind of power? In my house, they say my mom can only and only listen to me. And I'm telling you, that was not always the case. After I learned NLP, my communication just went to a supernatural level. I'm not kidding with you. I can tell you when you are lying. So if a person comes to me and says that I am depressed, how many of you have seen sometimes during my advanced law of attraction or my platinum or my NLP, sometimes I say, no, you're not depressed. I confidently say, so I said, no, you're not depressed. How many of you have seen me doing that sometimes? I'll tell you why, because I can see it in their eyes. They're not depressed.
Even yesterday you said it.
When was that?
Wealth mastery class.
Wealth mastery. Yeah. I told Brijesh, I said, Brijesh, you don't have a limiting belief. How many of you remember that story? I was so confident. I said, Brijesh, you don't have a limiting belief.
Yes, sir, you told.
Right? Because I know where his eyes are going. Everyone write down. Our eyes cannot lie. Our eyes cannot lie because our eyes are neurologically connected directly to our brain. Yes or no? Directly. It's like your eyes are the monitor to the software. Your monitor cannot lie. Okay. What if now comes to the second way? What if you could use this VAK understanding to install a software in another person's brain? Come close to my camera. What do you think I'm doing with you guys all the time? I'm using this all the time. I'm always using my knowledge to take certain VAK styles and I'm installing that software in your brains. So I know what I'm doing at a very scientific level. It's not as simple as only law of attraction. How many of you are understanding what I'm saying? Okay, yes.
Can I, that means implement on my school students also in my class?
Of course. Of course. Of course. Here's another application of this. If you teach this to your school students, you can increase their memory by 50% in 10 minutes. Hello. I said 50% increase in memory in 10 minutes. How many of you are interested in that? Okay. I do this all the time. How many of you remember this experience when you can't find something in the house? Like 3-4 दिन ढूंढते रह जाते हो, मिलता नहीं है. कभी होता है आपके साथ ऐसा? If you use a particular NLP technique of your VAK, you can sit like this and you could use that technique and you can remember that in 2 minutes. My NLP Platinum members have done this many, many times. How many of you have done it many times here? Like you've remembered something just because you took that technique of VAK, right? It's very easy. Resina, who's one of our Platinum members, when she did NLP from Symbiosis, anybody knows Symbiosis College? Right? She got an entire 1-year certification from Symbiosis. After that, no, 6-month certification. Her level of NLP knowledge was here because it was all bookish. When she came and did our NLP again as part of Platinum, she went back to the same exams of that certification course. And after 10 minutes of change in her technique, she improved her memory. When she did the retest, earlier her exams were 70%, 10 minutes, 90% score. 10 minutes, 90% from 7. What if I could teach this to students? Imagine the kind of power and the application this has in your life. As business leaders, imagine if you had numbers at your fingertips and you're giving a PowerPoint presentation. What if you didn't need a PowerPoint? Is that making sense to you? How many of you have seen, I hardly use data. I hardly use, like, only today I'm using PowerPoint a little bit, but mostly I don't use PowerPoint. How many of you have seen me doing that? Why? Because everything is here, right? I'm talking to somebody and they're lying to me. I can catch them like this. What is the application of this in your life? Everywhere. Personal life, professional life, everywhere. How many of you agree? That is only the VAK module. Huh? That is just the first module I'm talking about. Here is the second module. I've not gone into details of the earlier module, which was the GDD module. How many of you remember the GDD module? Generalization, deletion, and distortion. You remember that? I call it, it's written as DDG, but I call it GDD. So generalization, deletion, and distortion. So in that GDD module, how many of you know what is meditation? Anybody's heard of Vipassana? The experience that people have in meditation after 10 days, people who practice GDD possibly can have in just 1 or 2 days. Because you will be like present all the time to your thoughts. It's like your thoughts will run in front of you. How many of you remember in the beginning, Deepa was saying that I can see my thoughts now. I understand, all my awareness is very sharp. How many of you remember she was sharing that? That's process of the GDD. Okay, so that's only 2 modules I've told you so far, GDD, VAK. Here's another module, everyone, that we're going to learn today. It's called VAK Submodalities. VAK Submodalities. Now, what is submodalities? So what is the meaning of the word sub? There is a main primary modality and there is submodality. These are technical terms, so don't get confused. I'll give you a simpler word. So there is a parent and there is a child. Everyone clear? There is a parent and there is a child. The main modality is the parent, which is that VAK, visual, auditory, kinesthetic. Then there are submodalities. Examples of submodalities are from visual, how bright the light is the submodality. Is it white or is it red is the submodality. Similarly, in audio, it's about how loud it is, how soft it is. Is it going too fast or is it going slow? That's submodality. Kinesthetic is, are you standing straight or are you standing loose? So there are many combinations of VAK. What is the application of VAK submodalities? Everyone quickly write down. Creating fast change in your brain, super fast change in your brain in terms of liking something to disliking something to liking something. How many of you remember Hardika was saying she got more interested in studies? Do you remember that? Do you know how much time she took to do that? 10 minutes. Not kidding. 10 minutes. She's right here. How? If you change the VAK software at the submodality level of your brain, you can make yourself interested in something. You can make yourself disinterested in something. There's a person who came to me once. This is a lady. She went through a situation where she was physically abused 10 years ago. And she was going through a 10-year-old trauma because of that. To be very precise, okay, there are children here, so I'm not going to use the word, but everybody knows what I'm talking about. Okay, so that's the worst experience that she went through for 10 years. And she can't stop her stories. Like, she went through many courses, she went through many psychiatrists, she's taking antidepressant tablets, just not able to get rid of that memory. She came to my house after half an hour. When she came for the first time, she came with her husband. Her husband said, please don't remind her. I said, but then how will I help her? She's like, no, but then she'll go into this frenzy of crying and then you can't stop her for 2 hours. I was like, what, 2 hours? He's like, yeah, she's like this for 10 years. Like, if she remembers, she goes into depression for 2-3 hours, she can't come out. Can you imagine like that for 10 years? It's crazy. And I challenged the husband. I said, after half an hour, we'll talk about the same memory. Prove it to me if she can cry. He said, Mitesh, impossible. I said, just let me do what I'm doing. Don't ask how. Because even if I want to explain to you, I can't teach you 3 days of NLP in half an hour, but I can do it on you. Is that making sense? And in half an hour, done. Done. You can talk to this lady about that event anytime you want, and she'll talk to you like you're talking about somebody else's story. Here's another example. Fast change in the brain. An example of that. There is a person who had a fear of falling down. So literally, even while walking down in steps, he's feeling fear all the time. That level of fear. Lived with it for 6 years. Gone in 10 minutes. This is the kind of changes that you will learn when you do the VAK submodalities. Today we'll learn about that. Then changing beliefs. Everyone write down changing beliefs. What do you mean by changing beliefs? I am not good enough. We can change that belief in 10 to 15 minutes. Now, normally in advanced course, we will do affirmations, we'll do some other techniques, and we'll take, in advance, there are a couple of techniques. If you use that, you can change it in 4 to 5 days. Some of you have already changed your advanced techniques, belief systems. Yes or no? Some of you even changed and upgraded your emotional patterns in only 2 to 3 days after joining advanced. How many of you have changed your patterns in just 2 to 3 days? Right? Now, imagine being able to do that in 20 minutes. See, that's why I said, what is NLP? Everyone take hands. What is NLP? It's like crunching time. It's like doing things faster. That's the difference. Okay. The reason we can't teach this at the advanced stuff, because the course is much longer. It's more technical. It's much more different. That's a law of attraction course. This is NLP in science. Okay. So that's the change of submodalities in the level. Then fears and phobias. Everyone write down fears and phobias. We can change this really, really fast. Okay. Addictions. Everyone write down addictions. Can change really, really fast. How you feel from lazy to motivation can change really, really fast. How many people in Platinum here have already started exercising regularly with me, even though you didn't like it earlier? Raise your hands, please. Okay, these are specific people raising hands who've gone through NLP with me, because they've gone through a certain reinstallation of their software. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. Then everyone write down another module called anchoring. Anchoring. Now, what is anchoring? Anchoring is a module which is about, okay, first let me explain what's an anchor. How many of you remember seeing an anchor? How many of you remember seeing an anchor? It is in a boat, remember? A boat has this kind of a nail kind of a thing, and it drops. What is the job of the anchor? It holds the boat in that place. You can even drop the anchor in the middle of the ocean and it holds the boat in that place. Yes? So the boat and that location is connected because of the anchor. Now in NLP, we say anchor are of 2 types. Write down positive anchors and negative anchors. Positive anchors and negative anchors. Anchors have 2 elements. It's made of 2 things. A stimulus and a trigger. So sorry, a trigger, a stimulus and an emotion. A stimulus and an emotion. The stimulus itself is the trigger. A stimulus or a trigger and an emotion. And I'll tell you what that means right now. Example. How many people had ever have this experience where you're listening to, you're going by the road, you listen to a particular song and that reminds you of a certain memory like a flash? Anybody ever had that experience? Like it takes you to a college memory or a school memory or a life partner memory. Anybody had that experience? Now that song is the stimulus in any NLP language, or it's called a trigger. Okay, like a gun has a button which is called a trigger. So when you fire that trigger, you're firing that anchor. And that emotion suddenly gets come back in. So if you think in that moment, the memory is 10 years old, but you're feeling it as if it's happening now. Yes or no? Now question, did you purposely trigger that memory? Hello? No, I'll tell you why. Everyone write down, anchors are subconscious programming. Anchors are subconscious programming. I'll give you an example of that. How many of you have ever had this experience while you are having a very perfect normal day? For some reason, you start feeling low and you can't explain why. How many of you have ever had that experience? And you're like, I don't know why I'm feeling low, and you're getting frustrated because you're not even realizing why you're feeling low. How many of you have gone through that experience in life? And the next day, you're normal. And then after 3-4 days, it happens again. How many of you have gone through that? Some negative anchors have got fired. Some negative anchors have got fired. Any normal human being at the age of 30s and 40s has an average of anything between 50 to 100 negative anchors. And you have no idea what they are. And so imagine this, everyone. Imagine standing in the middle of the ground, and everyone imagine right now, okay? Imagine you're standing in the middle of the ground and you're surrounded by 50 soldiers, okay? Now, everyone hold your hands like this. So you have to go from this part of the ground to this part of the ground. And there are 50 soldiers in the middle, randomly standing anywhere. As you're crossing the road, in between they're firing at you. Now, sometimes you get saved and sometimes you get hit. Imagine your experience while going from one part of the ground to the other part of the ground. Some days you get hit, so you're down. Some days you get saved. And by the way, some days you're not saved because you are good at saving yourself. Some days you're saved because the person did not have a good nishana. Are you understanding what I'm saying? Somebody else was not good at firing the trigger, so you got saved by mistake. But somebody comes with a better trigger, hits you back. How many of you agree? So write down, everyone. People are controlling our triggers. Situations are controlling our triggers. I'll give you an example. How many of you know specific people in your life who are negative triggers for you? Raise your hands, please. I'm sure you're realizing what I'm saying. Yes or no? Specific people who create negative triggers for you. These people have power over you right now because you've subconsciously programmed them at an anchor level. Anchor means what? Everyone take a left hand. Say, this is the stimulus. This is the emotion. They have got married. This is called an anchor. Once again, this is the stimulus or the trigger. This is the emotion or the memory. This has got married. It's called an anchor. So it's got anchored completely there, right? That is why some people can have an experience that happened 1 year ago and can still stay there forever. How many of you have done this with yourself? Sometimes, like some memory happens and it has an impact on you for a few days after that. Yes or no? Why? Because it's got an anchor. Is everyone clear about this? Now, what we'll do in this module is we'll identify your negative anchors first. Then we'll dissolve those negative anchors because otherwise they'll keep working on your brain. Once again, I'll ask you, how many people are part of my 9 p.m. session for at least a month? And how many of you are experiencing some profound changes in a very fast period of time? I'm using anchors on you. Yes, I'm using anchors. I'm not telling you, but it's not possible to tell you that time because it's too much theory. But I'm using anchors on you. I'm destroying some of your negative anchors, right? Then write down, everyone, called creating and programming new anchors. Creating and programming new anchors. Let's say you're going for a business meeting, okay? And you're nervous. Now, if you've got that nervous, how many people feel nervous when they go for business meetings or you go for critical high-end conversations with people? Raise your hands, please. Now, you've had this habit for how long? I get it. Stamp paper guarantee written. I'll solve that problem in 10 minutes. It's just an anchor. I can dissolve that anchor in 10 minutes. How many of you are ready to challenge me on that? I'm telling you, challenge me. I'm willing to do it with you. Okay. Then I will show you how you can reprogram that anchor, go back to the same incident, and I'll make you feel funny. Forget anger, forget nervous. I'll make you feel funny. Like the same person is in front of you, and in your mind, you'll be like, you'll be laughing at them. How many of you want that kind of control on your brain? You're going to learn that in that module of creating new anchors, programming new anchors. Okay, here's another one. Application of creating anchors. Program for specific emotions for specific days. For an example, you remember I spoke about getting up early in the morning? How many people have a problem with that? I can program you in 15 minutes to get up early tomorrow morning and you will get up. It's a program. If I do it with you personally, it's a program. It's an anchor. I just have to anchor you. Right? Now, how do you do that? That's what's called creating an anchor. What is the application of this? If a particular person in your life is there and you want to feel confident in front of the person, wouldn't it be valuable if you could program your confidence before you could meet the person? Yes or no? What if you're going for a negotiation, which is a large meeting? And what if you could program yourself for a great negotiation experience before you go to that meeting? Would that be great? My sales experience has gone from here to here because I program myself before I get into a sales conversation. How many of you have seen me selling in webinars? Anybody seen me selling in webinars? Have you seen how comfortable I am? I've programmed myself that way. Now, when I say the word program, people think, oh, 5 saal ka experience. No. I developed those neuro connections in half an hour. I'll give you one last example. How many of you play sports? Sports? Okay. I don't know what sports you play. Many years ago, I had this feeling of playing shooting. Anybody knows shooting is also a sport, like this air gun shoots, right? So I went to a particular person who teaches air gun shooting. And he teaches people to compete properly, formally. You have to give exams and stuff. So I went to him and I said, I don't want to do exams and stuff, but I just want to learn for hobby. So he said, okay, done. Now in shooting, there is something called a bullseye, which means the target is about, let's say 100 meters. Okay. And you take a rifle and you do a bullseye, which means in that circle in the center, you have to hit. Okay. How long so let's say you have 10 shots. How many shots, everyone? Once again, show me your hands. 10 shots. To get 10 bullseye, what is the period of training do you think you need? Everyone unmute, give me an approximate answer.
2 to 3 years.
No, 10 years.
3 years.
2 years.
At least
5 years.
So 10 years.
Doesn't actually take so much time. Takes about anything between 6 months to 1 year sometimes, depending on person to person. Okay, some people can take a little more. But here is the true story. It's a true story. I went to this expert and he personally had the ability of doing like 10 bullseyes and he learned it in 3 months. He said he's super talented and he really is super talented. I learned with him in 35 minutes. How much time? 6 bullseye out of 10. First time in my life. Now listen to this. 45 minutes after that, 8 bullseye. Okay, first time in my life. Now, how am I doing that? Develop neuro connections. Okay, I'm using VAK, I'm using submodalities, I'm using anchoring. I'm also using modeling. Everyone write down modeling. This is another module. We'll not cover this today. We'll be covering this next Sunday, maybe the Sunday after that. Modeling. So what is modeling? Modeling is I can take a person and replicate their success in my life super fast. I'll tell you some of the people I've modeled in my life. How many of you have heard of this person called Anthony Robbins? So Anthony Robbins, when he trains people, he doesn't have 500, 600 people in front of him. He has like 15,000 people in one time. It's like a rock concert when he does a training program. I modeled him. So because of that, some of the speed at which I can impact people in a larger crowd is much faster than some of my coaches that I've learned with. My coaches whom I've learned with, I've kind of exceeded some of them in my life because of NLP and because of the NLP modeling. How many people would like to model somebody's business success faster? I knew it. Everybody wants to model business success first. Okay. How many of you want to model somebody's relationship? Like you want to have more happiness in your relationships. Okay. The problem is people are not using modeling. People are using experimentation. I say this in my platinum webinar all the time. People experiment with their life all the time. Yes or no? Why experiment when there is already a better way somebody has got? Just model their way. Is that making sense? This way you can develop faster neuro connections. These are all modules which helps you create faster neuro connections. Here's another one, everyone. Changing bad habits in 10 to 15 minutes. Like nail biting is a bad habit. How many of you agree? I've changed this for children in 10 to 15 minutes. There's a module right down called swish pattern. Swish pattern. It's a swish pattern technique. You can change somebody's bad habits in 10 to 15 minutes. My niece, my sister-in-law's daughter, actually, her name is Runjun. She had this fear of wind. Every time wind came, she would just run away and go below the bed. And she used to do this for 2 to 3 years. I solved it in 15 minutes. Now she actually goes and plays in the wind. It's that comfortable. There's another girl, she had fear of water. So she was not learning swimming for many years. Solved it in 15, 20 minutes. Right now, there's another lady, I think, was it Madhumita or somebody who told me here that her friend.
Yes, sir.
Right, Madhumita, I heard about it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Correct.
You told me, I had a talk with her yesterday.
Yeah.
So she'll confirm it to me.
Yeah. So Madhumita's friend, her son, right? Or is it nephew?
Nephew.
Yeah, has not gone to school for what did you say, 3 years?
Sir, 3 years. Suddenly developed a phobia.
See, phobia because of which a son is not going to school for 3 years and the parents are not able to do anything about it. I immediately messaged Madhumita and I said, I'm very confident I can help. Now, how much time do you think I can help in? Everyone?
So you said one session.
I actually told her on the message, I said, I just need one session. I just need one session. Now, listen, I'm not God. I'm not saying I'm God. I can't 100% guarantee, but the chances of success are what? Everyone, chances of success are what? 90-95% chances. Is it worth taking a chance? Yes or no? And listen, what is life about? It's not about 100% success. It's just about having 80 to 90% of success in your hands. That's it. Yes or no? Do you know that majority people control only 20% of their success? Majority people control only 20% of their success. How many of you agree with me, by the way? 80% of the time people are failing. Yes or no? What is extraordinary people? They're just controlling 80% of their destiny. That's it. I know 80 to 90%, I know I can help this kid. Does it mean it's 100% reason? Hello? No, it doesn't mean that. By the way, if I can't do it, does it mean NLP doesn't work? Hello? No, it only means I need to improve on NLP. How many of you agree with that? It's just that. Like, it's like going to the doctor and saying, you are not a good heart surgeon. Heart surgery doesn't work. Arey, aisa nahi hota. He may not be a good heart surgeon. Heart surgery works. How many of you agree? It's a science. There's nothing to it. Right? Homeopathy works. You just need to change a doctor. Ayurvedic works. You just need to change a doctor. But is it worth taking a chance with the right doctor? Yes or no? What if some of you could become that doctor? Now I'm coming to that level where you can train other people and coach. How many of you remember Vijay said, Hardika helped Vijay quit some sweets for 2 months. How many of you remember that? She's 15-year-old. I'm pretty sure you guys can develop neuro connections faster. How many of you agree? Although I would challenge you because I think Hardika is still faster.
One last question.
Yes.
Sir, like my son has, I wrote it in the group also, like he is very much attached to video games like PUBG and all those. And because of this online.
Yeah, it's possible.
So,
it's
like,
possible to
can I change him?
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
Sir.
You know why Hardika is smiling? Hardika has already done it. Hardika, speak about it.
Yeah, I had done with one boy. I don't remember his name, but I had done it. It worked, but actually उसका tuning नहीं हुआ ना, इसलिए वो last उतना exist नहीं किया. नहीं तो हो जाता. अगर session
शुरू में क्या किया आपने? कितने दिन गया उसका?
बस एक session में नहीं, एक घंटा session, like 5 to 10 minutes.
And what was the result?
Like I told him that imagine there is a
नहीं, I'm not asking क्या किया. Result क्या मिला? जब आपने ये टेक्निक यूज किया,
phone, like मैंने उसको बोला कि phone ला करके रख. He was not touching the phone. He was scared about it. I am not touching. So
observe everyone. This guy was addicted to phone. She worked with him for 10 to 15 minutes. Now the guy is not willing to touch the phone. A 15-year-old girl knows how to do that. How many of you want this kind of power for yourself? Just last week, Chetan told us, I don't know, Chetan, are you here in the group right now? Chetan said he used NLP on one of his customers. He's now teaching NLP now. So he did it with one of his friends who had gutka problem. How many of you agree? Gutka is a very big problem. Yes? The person didn't touch gutka for at least 2 days is what he told us. At least 2 days. And how long a session? 10 minutes. So I'm not just saying you will learn how to do this for yourself. You'll learn how to do this for others. Okay. Here's one more module. Write down, everyone. Stacking anchors. Stacking anchors. Now, all of these modules you'll learn over a period of time. It may be 2, maybe 3 Sundays. Stacking anchors. What is stacking anchors? Okay. How many of you have seen firecrackers in Diwali? Have you seen, like, you light it at one place and like the whole chain goes? Do you remember that? You've understood what is anchors so far? So I said, if you could pull one trigger, one positive emotion, right? Everyone take your hands. Now imagine we could pull that trigger and there was a machine gun of positive emotions. How many of you would like that? Like one trigger, 3 bullets. One trigger, 5 bullets. How many of you are interested in that? That's called stacking anchors. It's a crazy experience. I do it all the time. Like in my training programs, I have multiple emotions that I have anchored myself to. Feeling calm, feeling relaxed, feeling confident, feeling excited, being aware. All these are my stacked anchors. I can feel any one of these emotions any point of time because I've stacked them together. Okay, that's called stacking anchors. Here's another one, everyone. Write down metaphorical healing. Metaphorical healing. Metaphorical healing. Now, you can change a person's mindset in 5 to 10 minutes if you use the right metaphor at the right time. Like in advanced law of attraction, I remember this example. How many of you remember this guy called Jatin in advanced law of attraction? Was it in advanced or wealth mastery? I think advanced. And he said that, Mitesh, some of your metaphors have just got stuck in my brain. Like I just remember them all the time. What is a metaphor? A metaphor is an example. For an example, how many of you right now had a good impact when I said, everyone take your hands like this? One trigger. What did I say? One trigger. What did I say after that? Machine gun of emotions. How many of you agree this is going to have an impact on you for the next few days? Like you will keep thinking like, wow, what if I could do this? How many of you agree? I'm already using a metaphor on you.
Sir, Vadilal ice cream is also a metaphor.
Yes.
Because it had an impact on me. Terrible impact. When one day I forgot my 3 years of depression.
Yes, I'm using metaphors all the time.
Basic LOA program.
Yeah. It's all metaphors. So sometimes I'm using metaphors, sometimes I'm using swish patterns in the daily manifestation, sometimes you're using anchors, sometimes I'm using stacking anchors in daily manifestation. People don't even know it. Like I'll give you an example. Everyone quickly take your hands like this, quickly say, yeah, yes. Check how you're feeling. I've already programmed you with that anchor. You don't know it. That's called an anchor. Okay, everyone take your hands like this. Say, don't ask how. Don't ask when. That's an anchor. I just have to start. I just have to trigger. Boom. The rest of it was with you. Here's another one. Everyone say it with me. Whenever something negative happens, come on, say it with me. Whenever something negative happens, come on, show me everyone. It's an anchor. I'm telling you some of my secrets, but I haven't told you how to create it yet. But are you realizing that I'm using all of this like at every level of my program? That's why the programs are so effective. How many of you can see that? Right? Here's another good news. Indu's going to kill me for this again. Indu, are you ready to kill me?
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
I know.
Permission or no permission?
Okay.
Yes or no?
I said okay.
Oh, you said okay. No, you didn't say yes. I was waiting for the okay, yes wala trigger. Okay, got it. So here's what we're doing. It's not final the date yet, but we have finally decided to do a certification program for law of attraction. Okay, where we are going to certify people as law of attraction trainers. And listen to
And
this
guess
carefully.
what, my platinum members, this announcement was supposed to happen 3 weeks after today, okay? And look at Mitesh Khatri delivering premature baby again.
You know how I am, right? Remember one of my lessons, fail fast, who cares, right? Anyway, so bottom line, it's a certification program on law of attraction. And here is the best part. It's not only how to deliver, I'm going to give ready-made material to people. Which means you don't even have to worry about what to say. How many of you are ready for that level of programs? But obviously, the prerequisite is platinum.
First, we have to learn.
Yeah, first you have to learn, because you cannot start teaching something that you're not an expert at. I'm a strong believer. You can't give value when you don't practice something. How many of you agree with that? So there are a lot of prerequisites. NLP is one of the prerequisites. But how many of you can understand why NLP is a prerequisite? Why NLP is a criteria? Because I'm using this stuff in the way I am teaching all the time. Are you understanding, everyone? I'm using this stuff in the way I'm teaching all the time. That's what I'm talking about. Here's another module. Everyone write down after that. hypnotic language patterns. This is absolutely crazy. I use it every single moment of my life. Hypnotic language patterns. Now, what is hypnotic language patterns? This is about how can you control what people listen before you even say it? You heard me right. How can you control how people listen to you before you even say it? Like, I actually control how people are going to listen to me before I even say what I want to say. And I say something 3 steps before that.
Come closer to the camera.
Okay, you want me to, you want to say something?
No, you used to say.
Yeah. Okay.
Close to the camera.
Vijay, you're revealing my secrets here. Yeah. Now, the reason I do that is because it's all about communication power. How many of you agree? Everyone write down the quality of my life. The quality of my life equals the quality of my communication. Simple. Literally the quality of your life. Literally the quality of your life. And when I say life, it includes what? HRCM, everything. The quality of your life equals the quality of your communication. Communication with whom, everyone? 2 people. One is yourself. Second is everybody out there in the world. Is that right? You'll be surprised. I actually use hypnotic language patterns with myself. It's called self-hypnosis. So many people don't know this about me. I'm actually a trained clinical hypnotherapist. So I use some of that in teaching NLP. I actually use hypnotic language in DMP every single day. So I'm practically hypnotizing people every day and they don't realize what's happening. But doing it with good intentions for the good of people. That is why, how many of you have seen crazy results in NLP, in daily manifestation? Like people come and say, I've joined only for the last 3 days, for the last 21 days. Like yesterday, that lady was sharing 21 days. She was crying every day. And she's saying, yes, I came for just 2 days and I'm absolutely fine. How many of you remember that story? How do you think that's happening? Now, I'll tell you a secret, which I don't tell everyone else. Come close to me. In the DMP, I'm actually pre-programming these things. So I'm expecting these results. So when people come and share these results, I'm actually not surprised. I'm not joking with you. I'm not actually surprised. Of course, I have to show that surprise because I have to show that appreciation to the person. But I know the result of the program is going to be that. What if you could predict the result of your training programs, your leadership, the way you talk to your children, the way you talk to your father, the way you talk to your mother? I actually hypnotized my mother many times. By the way, here is the weird part. Everyone come close to me. We are always hypnotizing each other. You just don't know the process. Yeah, you're always hypnotizing each other. You just don't know the process. It's like this. How many of you agree we are always using law of attraction? Yes or no? We are always using law of attraction. We just don't know it. How many people, when joined the advanced law of attraction for the first time, in the first 2 days, your mind blew up thinking, what are you doing unconsciously with yourself? How many of you agree with me? Like you realize, like, what am I, like, how many of you felt after joining advanced, I wish I'd done this 10 years ago? Right?
Yes.
Because you realize what blunder you're doing for 10 years. Now imagine you being able to create that kind of results in not 2 days, but 2 minutes. Okay, now here's another crazy part. When DMP starts, for how long do you think I prepare? Make a guess.
No preparations.
Yeah, so here's the true story. My actual decision of what I am going to say starts when your dancing is over. I'm not kidding with you. Ask Indu. When your dancing is over, that's when I start. And I'm like, आज क्या बोलना है? आज ये वाला program, आज ये वाला anchor करेंगे, आज ये वाला stacking करेंगे, आज ये वाला break करेंगे. That's how my neurons are fast. Now that's because of the neurons. My neurons are firing so fast. Zoop, 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 zoop. It's exactly like a heart surgeon. Like we have Mahesh here. Dr. Mahesh is part of the Platinum, who's actually one of the country's foremost transplant expert of kidney. Now, for someone who's zero experience on kidney transplant can do huge amount of preparation when you're going for the first operation. Am I right, everyone? But for someone like Dr. Mahesh, who's one of the foremost authorities on that, goes to the surgery room and his neurons actually start firing when? When do you think? When do you think? Literally, like if he really observes, it literally happens for an expert after the cut has happened. That's when the brain, zoop, it just takes over after that. Now, why? So this is where we are closing NLP introduction. There are 4 levels of learning. Everyone write down 4 levels of learning. First, unconscious incompetence. Unconscious incompetence, which means what? I am not even conscious that I am not good at it. This is simple. This is not necessarily part of NLP. I'm just clarifying to you. Unconscious incompetence. I don't even know I am not good at it. Then, now, how many people here are not realizing you have a lot of potential within you, which people keep telling you, but you don't realize what they talk to you about sometimes? Yes. So that is the level called unconscious incompetence. You don't even know that you don't know. We call it simply as I don't know that I don't know. So obviously that's like now how much percentage of your life is unconscious incompetence, by the way? You'll be surprised. 80% of your life is unconscious incompetence. You don't even know that you don't know so many of the good things that you can learn, that you can be good at. Okay. Like in the Wealth Mastery program, how many of you know we talk about multiple sources of income? Some people have already started. Yes or no? Why? Because I'm taking them beyond this level. From the unconscious incompetence, I'm taking them to the next level. Everyone write down conscious incompetence. Conscious incompetence, which means I consciously now know what I don't know. I consciously now know what I don't know. Everyone clear about this? I now know what I don't know. Many people get stuck only at this level of life. So they'll come to a coach and say, I don't know this, I don't know this, I don't know that, I don't know this, I don't know that. Very few people go to the third stage. Write down conscious competence. Conscious competence. Now, many people ask me, Mitesh, what is the difference between advanced, law of attraction, and NLP? What is the level of the difference? Here is the difference. Everybody in advance, everybody in wealth will be at level 3, conscious competence. Now, I'll tell you what is NLP. Write down the 4th level, everyone. Unconscious competence. Unconscious competence, which means you've become so good at it that you don't need to be conscious about it. Now, let me give you an example of that. How many of you ride a bike or a car? First time, when you were a child, you did not even know that you did not know how to ride or drive. Yes or no? So that is why you'll observe children do things which they don't even know that they don't know. Yes or no? Like if you leave a child alone in the car, he can actually switch on the gear and start driving because they don't know that they don't know. Like if you leave a child in the kitchen, can they actually put their hand in the fire? Yes or no? Yeah, because they don't know that they don't know. You getting it? So we take them to the second stage. What is the second stage, everyone? Conscious incompetence. Now I know, oh, I don't know how to drive. Now I know, oh, I don't know how to control my frequency. So observe, in my webinars, I'm constantly leaving people at what level? Second level. Now I know what I don't know. So a lot of people don't join the same day, but they come back later. Why? Because they are left at that level. And I've given them the clarity that when they come to me, they can come to the third level. What is the third level, everyone? Conscious competence, which means I can consciously teach you how to control your frequency. Yes or no? How many of you are seeing I'm actually revealing stuff to you, which I've never spoken about in any program? Because NLP is like deep science, which I'm using every single moment of my life. Okay. So conscious competence and then goes to unconscious competence, which means now you are so good at it that you don't even have to think, your brain just takes over. Zoop. All experts can come to unconscious competence. Average time in the market says, as per research, everyone write down 10,000 hours. 10,000 hours of practice to get to unconscious competence. This is the average time. It's been certified. There's a book written on it. I don't know the name anymore.
Yes,
Maybe
sir.
Keshav, you remember the name of the book? I don't know.
Yesterday, Mukudananda Swami
Tipping point.
also said.
Tipping point. I think it's tipping point. Yeah, I guess so. So 10,000 hours is what it generally takes for anybody to become an expert. So they say any person who's even bad at something, does something for 10,000 hours will become an expert at it. Now, in NLP, do you think it'll take us 10,000 hours? What if we say it will take? No, I wouldn't say 10, 15 minutes. But what I'm saying is in terms of hours, instead of practicing for 10,000 hours, what if you could practice only 10% of that? Which means what?
1,000 hours.
Yeah, that's it. We are talking about achieving 10 years of success in 1 year. Does it seem practical now? It's all about neuroconnections. And all the modules that I told you teaches you how to do that. Everyone clear? Super. So it's 1 p.m. now. It's a hard stop. This is what is NLP. Whether you're joining or not, how many people are completely blowing your mind right now? Like this kind of science exists in the world and we don't even know it. Yes or no? All right, super. So starting after 1 hour lunch break, we will now get into learning all these modules and how to practice this in your life every single day. And here is my promise. Every result that I told you, we will not create after the workshop. We will create during the workshop. Okay. So I'm not talking about like to dislike. I will teach you, then you go in your life, then you do it like in advanced. I'm like, okay, so you hear your affirmation, now go practice affirmation. Here it's not like that. I will change your frequency here in the workshop. How many of you are ready for that? All right. So those of you who are super excited to take your success fast track, meet me here back at 2 p.m. All the members who are here as guests from either Basic Law of Attraction or Advanced or Wealth Mastery, you're welcome to join the NLP program.
How do we
All you
pay?
need to do, yes. So you need to connect with Indu on her number. Indu, can you give us a link here in the chat window? Or do you want people to connect with you?
I've given the link here.
You've given the link here. Okay, great, guys. The link is in the chat window. I'm going to keep this Zoom link open for now for 10 minutes. After this, we are going to end the Zoom link. The reason is then we will create a new Zoom link, which is only for registered NLP members.
I've already created and given it in Platinum and NLP group. So all NLP members have it. Shreyans and Reena, I have sent it to you on your WhatsApp. Shreyans, आप एक बार check कर लीजिएगा. Reena? Yes, go ahead.
Ma'am, like I'm doing it on the tab and here I do not have my Axis Bank, that app. So it means how will I?
आप मैं लिंक आपको डाल देती हूँ. काय मैं डालूँ? बेसिक टेलीग्राम में डालूँ?
हाँ ma'am.
ठीक है, मैं डाल दूँ. Okay.
Thank you.
Madam, can you put in advance also?
You
can put it in all 3 groups, na?
I'll do that. I'll do that.
Basic, advanced, and wealth.
Yeah.
I'll do that.
Yes, of course, Monica. That's the idea. If you join now, you can continue with us from 2 p.m. But if you don't join now, then the problem is then you'll have to go back to videos. All these sessions are recorded, so you can watch the recordings, of course, if you join later. But if you join right now, then you can watch the live sessions with me.
Sir, can I send the link to my husband? Like he will do the payment?
Yeah.
What it can be done? No, copied and sent.
Yeah, Indu does this with me all the time. She says, you make the payment, I will enjoy my life. She does this with me all the time. You can also do it. What? Don't you tell me वो जरा Amazon का payment कर देना, मेरा body shop का आ रहा है, वो क्या Forest Essential का आ रहा है, जरा payment कर देना, नहीं बोलती है. Okay, I'm just having fun. All right. So with that, guys, we are done. Some of you who are blocked for the next 2 Sundays, remember, you either watch recordings.
Advanced course to join this?
Sorry?
Do I need to complete the advanced course to join this?
No, advanced is not necessarily a prerequisite because this is going deeper than even advanced. Not necessary. Advanced and wealth mastery students can join this parallelly because the topics are separate. This goes much deeper. Don't worry. It's not a direct reconnection.
Okay, I can
Platinum members, I have already sent the link. Okay.
So we have to pay right now and join it for the 2 p.m. session. We cannot join it directly.
That's right.
That's right.
मेरे सर इसका ये 2 to 4 है क्या सेशन टाइम?
क्या?
सेशन का टाइमिंग 2 to 4?
2 to 5.
2 to 5.
Yeah. So anybody has any other questions? Deepak.
Mitesh, is it advisable to join NLP for your core situations? Like you said, you can change your pattern, you can change others' pattern.
Of course.
So you know my situation. So like,
Who's that?
or
Who's that?
hello,
I can't see you.
Sheetal.
Oh, Sheetal. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Of course, Sheetal. Of course, goes without saying. But because
So
what
it's
I
like,
just
is it better?
is it
Yeah.
beneficial for HRCM? That's what your question is, right? Yeah. Of course.
Yes.
100%.
No, my particular situation, you know that I don't want.
I'm sorry, Sheetal. I don't remember.
My separation with my husband.
So what is the result you want there?
Marriage to be continued.
Oh, so that is law of attraction topic, whether it will happen, whether it will not happen. This is not specific to a goal, Sheetal. This is about learning to achieve, to kind of become a human being which has applications in HRCM like very different levels. So if you're wanting to only talk about how do I get married or how do I bring this relation, no, then NLP is not specifically for that. NLP may help with that, obviously, because how you communicate with your husband, how you feel while you're thinking about all that, your husband, all that fast changes will happen. But whether you will really get your husband back or not, whether you'll get married to someone, that's all advanced law of attraction, because that's attraction point of view. You got my point? But if you talk about saying, while I'm talking to my husband, how am I maintaining my frequency? That you learn in 10-15 minutes.
So
Yes, Madhumita.
So like I told you that day that I am always having a phobia. Like now it has reduced a lot, but still regarding the health, like a little bit, means suppose my son's little bit after the COVID, is this gland had swelled a little bit. So I had showed the doctor, she said nothing is there. Now it has gone. Earlier the impact was more. Like anytime
So your
morning
question
I
is,
feel scared. Can I reduce?
What, the fear or the
Fear.
Yeah. Fear to 10-15 minutes, Baba. Fear
That
phobia to bhuli jao. Fear phobia is like 10-15 minutes.
That thought keeps on coming, but I have controlled it because of your techniques little bit.
You'll understand the science behind it, 10-15 minutes.
Okay.
Which doesn't mean you learn how to do it in 10-15 minutes.
No.
The learning will take 2 to 3 days.
Yes.
But of course, once you learn it in 10-15 minutes, you can handle it.
The second one, I can apply it on my son.
Of course.
Thank
Sir, what is the best one, platinum or this one, NLP?
So platinum includes all my courses, everything, right? NLP is separate. NLP is only part of platinum. It's one of the programs. There are like 10 odd programs included in platinum.
If I want to join more course, then NLP is better or platinum?
If you want to join more, then just join platinum, because that includes 100% everything.
Okay, then can I join platinum today and join this NLP course?
See, NLP is included in platinum. So the
Yes,
moment you join platinum, you've already got NLP.
Okay.
That's what she's saying. Can I?
Yeah.
Can you send me that link? Like, okay.
Yeah, sure. So NLP, platinum is not the same fees. Platinum is 2 lakhs, which is higher, which includes all our programs.
So Ganesh Baliga, right?
Yeah, Rupa Baliga. Yeah.
Rupa Baliga. Rupa, what is your cell number?
982327.
Are you part of any course as of now?
Yeah, that 30 days.
Okay, only 30 days, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, then I'll send you the link here only. I thought I'll have to customize the link. Hold on for a second. I'll give you the link.
By the way, how many of you are serious about becoming law of attraction trainers? Don't miss the opportunity of NLP.
I have a question. I have a question related to the LOS certification which you just shared.
Sure.
What is the clauses to join in the certification program? Like, is that
First,
like I have to be I have
100% platinum for
premium?
now, because the reason is that the programs that I've included in platinum, which is basic, advanced, wealth, NLP, train the trainer, if you don't know these things, if I give you law of attraction simple certification, Tanvita, you'll fail in the market. I'll tell you why. Because then I'm not giving you who I am. Is that making sense?
Yeah.
If I want to give you everything that I have in the certification program, this is going to be part and parcel of the whole thing.
Okay.
Right?
So if I opt in for the premium one, then I'll also get, because
When
I am
you
too
qualify,
focused on the certificate.
Yeah.
Because whenever I talk about law of attraction in my social media or any of my friends, they actually ask for my certification. Like, do you have any certification or away as a bolder?
I understand.
तो कोई मतलब वैल्यू ही नहीं देता है, इसलिए मैं वो सर्टिफिकेट, मेरे मॉम भी ऐसे बोल रहे हैं कि यू आई एम आल्सो लर्निंग रेकी, सो आई हैव सर्टिफिकेट फॉर दैट. आई एम नॉट अ मास्टर बट आई एम स्टिल हैविंग सर्टिफिकेट फॉर दैट. बट इन टर्म्स ऑफ लॉ ऑफ अट्रैक्शन सब ऐसे बोले तो मम्मी ऐसे कह रही.
We're going to have 3 levels of certification, and this certification will have a very high level of credibility. I'll tell you why. See, all certification depends on the credibility of the institution that is giving the certification. How many of you agree with that? Now, because of my book, this is one of the first books in India to reach that kind of sale in law of attraction as an Indian author. So one, my credibility in here is like extraordinary. Second, at this point of time, I'm spending like 5 lakhs per week on my advertisements. By next 6 months, my plan is to scale my advertisement to anything between 50 lakhs to 70 lakhs a month. And then scale it up to 1 crore a month, only advertising fees I'm talking about. So that is the kind of brand equity I'm looking at building in the coming year. So this brand equity goes to all of those people who become my certification trainers. Plus, they get material so that they're able to train based on the same material. And there will be 3 levels of the certification. One will be the practitioner level like NLP. Then there will be a master trainer. And then there will be a trainer, master trainer, which means now you can qualify yourself to train other people on certification of law of attraction. Like NLP right now has practitioner, master, and master trainer, right? In law of attraction also we'll have practitioner, which means you're qualified to do level 1 training programs, which itself is crazy. Then you do advance in wealth, which is like masters. And then you become a master trainer where you can qualify others. Right? So we are rolling that out in a couple of weeks, but the prerequisite will be NLP, will be platinum for that.
Sir, like I talked to Indu ma'am also yesterday, like at present, I told you that my recovering money is going on. Like the first stage is over, repaying the market dues and all, but our things are going on. So at this moment, I'll not be able to pay 2 lakhs, you cannot join platinum.
No problem, take your time.
No, sir, like I want to just know that ma'am explain it, one after the other I'll take, but afterwards, suppose if I take HRCM, all the things, then whatever balance will be left, will that be deducted from the platinum? And then I have to give the remaining?
Yes.
Yes, Dhumita. Yes,
that only. Okay.
Remember, platinum is separate, certification is separate.
No, I don't need certification. I need platinum.
Just clarifying
that only.
Certification separate, just that platinum is a prerequisite.
Yes.
Ms. Baliga, did you able to do it?
So guys, we'll take a couple of last questions for 5 minutes and then we'll all go for lunch and come back at 2 p.m. Yes, Natalia, beta, you had a question?
So coach, we will have live session every Sunday?
Yes.
2 to 4?
No, not 2 to 4, larger. 9 to 11, now we'll keep the support calls. And then from 11 to 5 with a lunch break in between.
11 to 5?
11 to 5.
Okay, this will follow.
वैसे भी आपने Sunday दे दिया है ना मितेश को.
He's getting busier now.
Sir, NLP is having any support calls?
Sorry, 1 second. Haan, bhai.
This will be for 2 or 3 months every Sunday? No,
2-3 Sundays. Because it's the full day, and by maximum 3 Sundays, we'll complete it.
Okay, 3 Sundays.
Yeah. You remember I said we'll go into a cycle. We'll keep repeating it. We'll keep repeating it. Yeah. Yes. Who else had a question?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yeah. Who's that?
Chandrani.
Chandrani. Haan, Chandrani, bolo. I can't see you.
My question is, will there be any support call or we'll just do like relationship course, like cycle? We'll do.
Yeah. From now on, all my programs except advance and wealth will be cycles.
Okay.
Cycles, because NLP, once this cycle completes, after 7-8 weeks, we'll do NLP once again. Same thing will go with the other programs.
So if we have doubts, we can ask in the group.
Of course. And platinum members always have the platinum support call, so don't worry.
No, I am not in platinum.
Oh, sorry. Okay. In that case, the support calls are the groups are always there, right? The Telegram groups are always there. You can always ask your questions.
Okay.
Most welcome.
Hello, sir.
Haan, Chandrasekhar.
It's Darshan, sir. Darshan Soni.
Darshan. एक सेकंड ना, दर्शन चंद्रशेखर वाज वेटिंग. हाँ चंद्रशेखर
सर, ये 25,000 का कोर्स है ना NLP?
ये 25 प्लस टैक्स करके आता है 30,000 का.
अच्छा, ठीक है. प्लेटिनम में है ना, ये इंक्लूड है?
प्लेटिनम में इंक्लूड है. हाँ
चंद्रशेखर.
हाँ सर.
Yes, Darshan. And then Tanvita again.
I'm a basic law of attraction member. और फिर एक्चुअली फाइनेंशियली प्रॉब्लम इतनी ज़्यादा अच्छी नहीं है, तो सर एग्जैक्टली कौन सा कोर्स मैं पहले करूँ जिससे मुझे
एडवांस स्टेप बाय स्टेप
ओके
स्टेप बाय स्टेप जाइए। अगर पहले फाइनेंस का प्रॉब्लम है मतलब इमोशनल फ्रीक्वेंसी भी गड़बड़ होगी,
ओके
तो आप पहले एडवांस करिए ताकि पहले अपनी इमोशनल फ्रीक्वेंसी को करिए, उसके बाद में धीरे धीरे ऊपर जाना।
ठीक है, तो वेल्थ
मेरा सजेशन हमेशा वही रहता है।
ओके ओके ठीक है, तो वेल्थ वाला उसके बाद।
हाँ बिल्कुल, अभी जैसे रिसेंटली मैंने किसी को वेल्थ से शिफ्ट किया एडवांस,
ओके
क्योंकि नहीं, यू आर नॉट गेटिंग योर मनी बिकॉज योर इमोशनल स्टेबिलिटी इज नॉट देयर,
ओके
है ना। तो पहले इमोशनल स्टेबिलिटी के लिए बहुत सारी चीजें जो सीखनी पड़ेगी, उसके बाद वेल्थ पे आओ। वैसे भी इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि एडवांस में पैसा नहीं आता है, आएगा लेकिन वेल्थ का स्पेशलाइजेशन बाद में करेंगे।
ओके ओके ठीक है, प्रायोरिटी देख रहा था कि पहले उस काम
एडवांस
फिर आगे उसमें जल्दी हो जाएगा, इसीलिए
पहले एडवांस करो। आपको लिंक चाहिए चैट विंडो में, मैडम लिंक दे देगी आपको।
ओके
So 30,000 will pay, no?
Yes,
That means
that's right. Indu is giving you the link.
yes, given.
Madhumita 29,500 आता है।
29,500 to be precise.
Oh,
Yes, Tanvita. Sorry, you're on mute, Tanvita.
Okay. So my last question is, should I opt in for the platinum now or after you launch the certification program for launch?
See, if you really are serious about certification, I would say join today. If you have a finance problem, at least join the NLP today so that you start becoming part of the platinum. Because NLP anyways includes platinum, right? So overall, you should keep a budget of that level of certification program over a period of time for yourself, where platinum is about 2 lakhs. And we've not launched the pricing for certification program yet, but that's going to be 1 lakh and beyond, because there will be 3 levels for that. Practitioner, because in there, we are not going to give only knowledge. We are literally going to give training material where people just have to take the material and they just replicate. Making sense? But that's later, after you go through some of these programs. Okay, so you decide whether you want to go through platinum first or only NLP, because NLP is like the minimum requirement. So today, if you don't join NLP, later, once the certification starts in between, I may not be doing NLP live at that time. So you'll miss out on the criteria part of it at that time.
Got it.
All right.
Ma'am, I'm making the payment just now. Like, how will I know that when 2 p.m. session link will come again in that way?
Once you make the payment, Madhumita, let me know. I will.
Just let her know on the phone. Don't worry.
Otherwise, I'll give you the access. Don't worry about
it. Okay. Just now.
Yes, Vaibhav. Follow. Vaibhav, can't hear you, my friend. हाँ, अब बोलो.
Sir, basically my question is, you have 3 certifications in NLP. Okay. So what is the certification you will be giving?
Practitioner. Practitioner.
The first one.
First one.
Okay. So what about the second and the third one?
No, right now we're not started with master practitioner and master trainer. We're not focusing on that right now because NLP is not something that I'm right now created. Yes, Vaibhav. Gone again.
Just a minute.
Now I can hear you.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Okay. Mitesh, just 2 दिन पहले मैंने एडवांस LOA ज्वाइन किया है
जी.
So ये मैं NLP कर सकता हूँ क्या अभी? यानी
You're trying to say shift?
नहीं शिफ्ट नहीं.
अच्छा,
साथ में कर सकते हैं क्या?
मैंने बोला ना, दोनों अलग टॉपिक है. आप साथ में कर सकते हो क्योंकि NLP में ऐसा नहीं है कि आप एडवांस नहीं करोगे तो NLP समझ में नहीं आएगा, ऐसा नहीं. वेल्थ में है, अगर आप वेल्थ कर रहे हो और आपने एडवांस नहीं किया है तो गड़बड़ हो सकता है. तो मैं बहुत कम लोगों को एडवाइस करता हूँ डायरेक्ट वेल्थ, लेकिन NLP में कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं.
ओके, सो इसका रिकॉर्डिंग भी मिलेगा हमें
100% लाइफ टाइम.
ओके, थैंक यू.
मोस्ट वेलकम. इंदु, आप कुछ बोल रहे थे बेटा?
हाँ मितेश. चंद्राणी, and are you still on the call?
Yes, ma'am. I'm there.
I have check your private chat. I have given you as of now. I have given you link for NLP. What do you call?
Group, Telegram group.
Telegram group. Just join that. I'll give you the NLP Zoom link there, and then later I'll get into giving access and all. Okay.
Sure.
Same goes for you, Monica. Monica, are you still on the call?
In the meantime, Rajlakshmi, did you have a question?
Sir, I just wanted one simple guidance. I like all your programs, okay? I would want to do, but right now, platinum is not in my immediate reach.
I understand.
My question for you is, like NLP 30 I take, and next month if I choose to become platinum, how does that work?
We just minus the fees, don't worry.
Yeah,
We never charge you after that
So
again platinum. We
thank
just
you so
minus.
much, sir. Thank you so much. I wanted to know that only.
Yeah. Most welcome. Okay, done. So I guess we are done with all the questions. I'm going to end this meeting now, and I will see you all at 2 p.m. Yes, Hardika?
Meeting रहने दो.
One question.
एक second, हाँ Hardika बोलो.
When will be digital coaching?
So digital coaching, beta, we're not resuming today. We'll keep some separate timeline for that.
But अगर आपको क्वेश्चन है तो ग्रुप में डालो बच्चा.
हाँ, आप टेलीग्राम ग्रुप में डालो, वाला आंसर दे. क्वेश्चन वाला जो अपना प्लैटिनम का क्वेश्चन का ग्रुप है ना, वहां डालो. हाँ.
I have a question.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so on this one, so basically you are saying that we will be, once we learn this.
Sorry, who's that?
This is Jay Prakash, sir.
Jay Prakash, yeah, Jay Prakash.
I'm an ALOA member.
Yeah.
Okay, so on this one, so basically you are saying we will do the practically, we will learn it. Okay, so will I be able to apply on people right away? Or?
Of course, right away, same day.
Okay, I can get a result on the same day.
Of course. So for an example, let's say you're learning today, one of the modules is going to be about VAK, which is how to understand whether people are lying or telling the truth, right? You'll be able to do it today only.
Okay,
Second,
start using it.
yeah. If you're talking about VAKs, which doesn't mean you're a master today, but you can start using it today. So your neuro connections will develop faster. Correct? Then if we are talking about VAK submodalities, where you're changing like to dislike of a particular item, we'll do it today during the program only.
So basically, the reason why I'm asking is my uncle, okay, so he is bedridden, okay, nothing works, okay, so he is not, no part in body is work, he is just alive. Okay, so I'm just literally seeing how I can make him a human again so that he can use this.
No, I'm not sure how we can use NLP on him. That's a medical problem.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
I'm not
maybe
100% sure how you can use it on him.
So
So
we
if
can
you're joining, keeping that in mind, I would not advise you to do that.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
But again, fixing the problem like kids having this, using these PUBG and all that, that can be doable.
Yeah, of course, of course.
Okay, okay. Yeah, very much. Thank you very much.
Of course, it doesn't mean that you can do it against other people's will. But if you have a little rapport with the child and the child wants to do it, then 10 minutes ka kaam.
Achha. So he should be ready to change that.
Yeah, to some extent. To some extent.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Otherwise, it doesn't work.
Yeah, so I'm not saying that you can look into somebody's eyes, do a technique and make them do anything you want. That's not what I'm saying. Okay.
So actually NLP is related to emotions, emotions to frequency, and ultimately to law of attraction.
Of course. That's why I said NLP is the superpower of law of attraction.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to clarify one thing. This advanced LOA is 15,000, right?
That's right.
15,000 plus taxes.
No, including taxes.
And but NLP is 25,000 plus taxes.
Yeah, so that's basically in this thing, advance also there is tax, but we've just kept the number included. Here also the total including number is 29,500.
And what about the
If I make 1 rupee also, I have to give GST to government. So everything I'm charging you, I'm paying.
You're in a higher bracket, that's why. NLP is, sorry, platinum is 2 lakhs.
That also includes GST?
Yes.
Okay, so if you are doing separately LOA and we are paying for the LOA separately, NLP separately, whatever the cost is, if we do platinum, it will be deducted. You say the total will be deducted from that 12, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. Thanks.
Sir, if we learn the NLP techniques, do we still need to learn the ALOA techniques?
Of course. Of course. Of course. That is law of attraction. That is universal game. This is brain game.
Okay.
Right? Of course.
Hello.
Yes. Last question.
Bala here. Hi, coach.
Hey, Bala. How are you doing?
Yeah, doing good. Excellent.
Awesome. Bolo, Bala.
Just I need how many weeks this will be this NLP program?
Max 3 weeks, I guess.
Okay. I need to block the Sundays that is it.
Yeah, it'll be great. It'll be one of the best Sundays of your life.
Okay. Is it appropriate to join now? Because I'm recently joined in the platinum member.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. I myself and along with my son.
Yes.
Son, most welcome.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, coach.
Thank you.
Mitesh, by the way, Shreyans is also attending. Huh?
Yeah, sure. Akshadeep is also here. No, that is Akash, sorry. Okay, guys, I think it's time to end the meeting now. We are going for a lunch break. I have about half an hour before we have. So I'll see you all at 2 p.m. Those of you who are coming at 2 p.m., congratulations for joining NLP. Those of you who are not able to do it now, no worries. Join in the future because I know you're definitely coming in soon. So when next can we have this session? As currently I cannot pay. Dolly, this would be probably about 2 to 3 months approximately, because I'm going to go into a cycle of other programs also for the platinum members. Once that is over, then we'll come back to NLP. Okay, no problem. Okay, perfect. So take care, everyone. And if you need any other help, just connect with us in one of your relevant groups, Basic, Advanced, or Wealth. Okay.
Thank you, Rahul.
All platinum members, see you at 2 p.m. Bye, Prashant. Take care. Bye, everyone.